What's it like to be reborn into a game world? Right now, our female protagonist is in a game store playing a palace intrigue game. Because the character she was controlling was sentenced to death by the Emperor, and her own life in the real world had also come to an end. By a twist of fate, she crossed over into the game. A voice echoed in her ears. Soul, loading successful. World loading complete. Then, Plaques appeared, asking her to choose a character's strategy route. Different choices would lead to different endings. She casually chose a plaque for Jin Yunlai. The next second, space tore open. When she woke up, she found a man looking at her. He was currently pinning her down. The female protagonist was stunned. Who am I? Where am I? The man looked at her and said, "Your face is quite pretty. Too bad you're a washboard. With a figure like yours, you still have the guts to enter the palace for the concubine selection?" The female protagonist couldn't bear it anymore and threw a punch. It's the 21st century. You think you're the emperor just because you're wearing a cosplay costume? Jin Yunlai forcefully restrained the female protagonist. He suspected she was an assassin and suddenly materialized a dagger out of thin air. The female protagonist froze for a moment. A dagger out of thin air? I must be dreaming. If it's a dream, then I can do whatever I want, right? The female protagonist's wild side took over, and she pounced on him. Just submit to me. The next second, she was stabbed by the dagger's automatic defense. The sharp pain made her realize this wasn't a dream. Jin Yunlai was startled by her sudden pounce. He asked suspiciously, "Woman, are you still alive?" The female protagonist's consciousness faded, and she collapsed. Previously, the female protagonist got into a car accident and crossed over to another world. When she woke up, she found herself pinned down by a man. Thinking she was dreaming, she was about to make a move on the man, but was injured by his weapon. But the next day, her injury had completely healed. Even the imperial physician was amazed by her recovery ability. The man prepared food for the female protagonist as compensation for accidentally injuring her. After speaking, he raised his hand and patted the female protagonist's buttocks. The female protagonist should eat more. A big but is good for bearing children. Although the female protagonist was very angry, she still didn't know her current situation, so she just continued to eat. The man thought she was trying to get his attention. He lifted her chin and told her, "In this round of selection, I already have someone I favor. Your personality and temperament are quite suitable, but it's far from enough." After he said this, the female protagonist noticed he had stopped moving. She tugged at his clothes and face. It wasn't just him. Everything around them had frozen. Just as the female protagonist was wondering what was happening, a person suddenly floated out. This is his time-freezing barrier. "I am emissary number 14 from the demon realm, and also your guardian in this world. Yesterday's dagger wound healed so quickly because of me." The female protagonist wouldn't listen to his nonsense. She grabbed number 14 and demanded he revive her. Number 14 stated that the female protagonist was already dead and had been buried. Only then did the female protagonist realize that she had truly transmigrated for the female protagonist to adapt to life in this world. He also brought her a cheat, a hair tie that could turn into a phone. It also had an electronic software. Scanning an object would provide data and information. And in game mode, it had autonomous consciousness. Just as the female protagonist was about to ask more questions, number 14 received an urgent mission and left. She took out the phone and first scanned the man in front of her. The screen displayed Jin Yunlai, Xuanji Realm Tiger, Crown Prince of Guiyun Kingdom, deeply loved by the people. The female protagonist sneered. "He's clearly a domineering and willful pervert." Whatever. But the female protagonist didn't know that the time-freezing barrier had disappeared. At this moment, Jin Yunlai leaned in and said, "Little girl, who are you calling a pervert? Someone bring the portraits of the candidates. Let her see what a real difference is." The female protagonist looked. These portraits of the candidates all had one characteristic. They were big. Meanwhile, another woman learned that the crown prince had been with the female protagonist for so long. "What should we do?" "It seems we'll just have to make her disappear." Previously, the gamer girl who transmigrated was accidentally injured. She was lucky enough to be chosen by the crown prince. But this luck brought her trouble. This day, the female protagonist had just returned to her room when she heard a knock on the door. She opened it to find someone she didn't recognize at all. So she asked her to turn around and quickly scanned her with the phone. Tang Xin, youngest daughter of the Tang Winery in Guiyun Kingdom, selected to enter the palace the day before yesterday and lives next door to me. The female protagonist also learned her own name was Shi-Yuan from how Tang Xin addressed her. She turned around and acted familiar with Tang Xin. Tang Xin told her, "In the 2 days you were gone, the candidates in the palace have been divided into ranks based on family background, appearance, and figure. Among them, the highest rank is Xia Honglian, the daughter of the current powerful minister. Xia Honglian, relying on her background and the crown prince's favor, has already eliminated many who opposed her in the past few days. In short, you must stay far away from her." Just then, Xia Honglian arrived. "Sister Tang Xin, who are you staying away from?" After speaking, she turned to Qi-Yuan with concern. "I heard sister was injured in yesterday's incident. Are you better now?" Just as Qi-Yuan was about to answer, she was slapped. "Who gave you the nerve to stand and talk to me?" Qi-Yuan immediately retorted, "We are all new candidates in the palace. There are no class distinctions yet. Isn't it a bit much to act like a tyrant already? How dare you talk back to my master? Don't you know your place?" Two candidates pushed Qi-Yuan towards Xia Honglian. Xia Honglian caught Qi-Yuan's hand and began to use her spiritual power. Flames ignited on Qi-Yuan's wrist. Suddenly, a golden iron chain wrapped around her. It was Jin Yunlai. He caught Qi-Yuan. Before Qi-Yuan could be moved by this heroic rescue, she was thrown to the ground. However, the crown prince was still very considerate, handing her his clothes to put on. He then turned to the candidates who had just attacked and asked with concern, "Are you too hurt?" This made the candidates' hearts flutter. Could they be noticed and become the crown princess? "Your hands and feet are intact. Then pack your things and go home." The candidates were about to explain. The crown prince's eyes turned sharp as he ordered Kuei to take them away. Xia Honglian at the side also hurried over to explain that she just wanted to greet her. "It was those wretches who pushed her. I subconsciously used my spiritual art." The crown prince did not pursue the matter and told her to go back and rest. As he left, he said to Qi-Yuan, "You were lucky this time." Just as Qi-Yuan was thinking that the daughter of a powerful minister could really do whatever she wanted, a flick to her forehead. "Why aren't you wearing the clothes I gave you?" Qi-Yuan replied irritably, "Thank you for your concern, Your Highness. I was in a hurry this morning and forgot." The crown prince pinched Qi-Yuan's little cheek. "I asked that how you talk to your savior. The last person who spoke to me like that has already been exiled by me." Qi-Yuan shook him off. "I'm already homeless anyway." The crown prince lovingly stroked Qi-Yuan's head, telling her to stay away from Xia Honglian in the future. He might not be able to save her next time. Who knew Qi-Yuan would headbutt the crown prince in the face? She turned and ran away, leaving the crown prince fuming on the spot. Kuei, at the side, chuckled and said, "I'll go catch her right now." The crown prince stopped Kuei, telling him to increase surveillance on Xia Honglian. On the other side, Qi-Yuan fled back to her room. Her mind was filled with images of the crown prince sentencing her to death. After some thought, she decided it was best to escape quickly. Who knew the crown prince was already waiting outside? "Yo, where are you going with all these bags?" Just like that, she was caught by the crown prince. The crown prince was going to punish her in the room. At this moment, the female protagonist looked at the crown prince pitifully, calling out, "Your Highness," in a delicate voice, and even tugged at his pants. But the crown prince lifted Qi-Yuan's chin and said, "Be good, hold on a little longer. It'll be over soon." It turned out Qi-Yuan was giving the crown prince a massage. At Qi-Yuan's plea for mercy, the crown prince stretched. Not bad, not bad. You're so thin, but your hands are quite strong. I'll stay here tonight." Qi-Yuan took the opportunity to ask how the crown prince's chains and dagger appeared. The crown prince told her that Weiyun Kingdom is predominantly of the metal attribute, but there are also immigrants from other countries. Xia Honglian is from the Xia clan of Lusu, the daughter of the most powerful official. Girls inherit their mother's spiritual attribute, and boys inherit their father's. But both men and women inherit spiritual aptitude. It's best to awaken at 16. But Qi-Yuan was already 18. However, the crown prince still decided to help her awaken her spiritual power. He pressed on Qi-Yuan's wrist and entered her spiritual domain. He found Qi-Yuan's spiritual core. After injecting spiritual power, it would generate its own. Just as he reached out, several seals appeared around Qi-Yuan's spiritual core. A closer look revealed they were in the shape of a phoenix. The crown prince was shocked for a moment, then concealed his power and broke the seals. After a while, Qi-Yuan woke up. Looking at her hand, a ball of fire emerged. "Your aptitude is very ordinary. You have no chance in the upcoming martial selection." Meanwhile, in Huangyan Kingdom, a man sensed the seal disappearing and muttered to himself, "Are you still alive?" Inside Shiwan's room, Shiwan was making the bed while asking Jin Yunlai, "I'm just a candidate. Why are you so good to me?" The crown prince simply said, "Don't ask what you shouldn't." Shiwan said speechlessly, "Oh, then good night, your highness." Jin Yunlai stood by the window, chin in hand, also wondering when he started to care about this girl, recalling things before. When he first saw Chi Yuan's portrait with such a flat figure and no awakened abilities, and she was even sold by her parents. He just felt her identity was worth probing, which is why he summoned her. But he ended up injuring her. Thinking of this, the crown prince couldn't help but feel speechless. But now that you're in the palace, you're my property. With me here, you won't be homeless. He turned his head and saw that Chi Yuan was already fast asleep. The crown prince poked Chi Yuan's cheek, sleeping like a pig. Meanwhile, in the crown prince's room, a masked assassin walked in with a dagger. He raised the dagger in his hand and stabbed at the crown prince. But it was blocked. It turned out the crown prince was Kuei Malong in disguise. Kuei Malong had already subdued the assassin. The assassin was Xia Honglian, but she was already being controlled by someone else. At this moment, she was just a puppet. Suddenly, Xia Honglian cut the vines and jumped off the roof. Kuei Malong didn't pursue her, because if he caught her now, those old geezers wouldn't be happy. Kuei Malong informed the crown prince through a communicator. And the crown prince, hearing this expected result, ordered Kuei Malong to proceed as planned. To achieve your goal, you resort to such means. You're really becoming more and more vicious. Qing Ziyuan. The next day, Chi-Yuan woke up to find Jin Yunlai already gone. So she went to the courtyard and saw that the caterpillar in front of her was a higher level than her. She glanced at herself. She still needed 3 levels to unlock the next skill. So she had to launch a fireball at the caterpillar, who knew the caterpillar would dodge to the side. Then it jumped up and knocked her to the ground with a tail whip, just as she was about to get revenge on the caterpillar. A few candidates came to cause trouble for her. Oh, isn't it that lowly vixen? Look at your dusty face in that outfit. So ugly. But Shi-Yuan was not to be outdone. His Highness personally picked these clothes for me. Are you questioning His Highness's taste? What would happen if I complained to His Highness? Hearing this, the 2 candidates uttered a threat and ran away. But more and more people had been coming to cause trouble these past few days. While she was dazed, she unexpectedly saw Jin Yunlai and Xia Honglian walking towards her. Seeing their intimacy, Shi-Yuan couldn't help but feel a little bitter. Even when Xia Honglian called her a commoner and told her never to enter the garden again, the crown prince agreed. Does the golden-haired crown prince really like Xia Honglian? But he's so good to me. Shi-Yuan vented her anger. This is completely fixed. A dark horse. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her. Stop trampling on the lawn. These are all top-grade spiritual grasses. The person was the crown prince's guard, Kuei Malong. He quickly let go of Chi Yuan's hand and asked Chi Yuan to follow him. He had something important to discuss with her. Previously, Kuei Malong stopped the resentful Chi Yuan. He led her to the alchemy room and gave her a large pill. Because the royal family, to ensure that the next generation inherits high-quality spiritual power, holds a martial contest to test the candidate's strength. In the last contest, there were countless casualties. Only one person stood on the stage. She was Jin Yunlia's mother. This is the pill the crown prince gave Chi Yuan. It can greatly increase her cultivation in a short time. He also asked Chi Yuan to assist in their plan, to hold back and anger Xia Honglian in the martial contest. Chi Yuan couldn't figure out this plan. Doesn't the crown prince like her? Why does he want me to anger her? Chi Yuan said, "You're letting me in on the plan. You should at least let me know a little something." Suddenly, Kuei Malong showed a look of disgust. He turned around and slammed a hand on the wall. He said to Chi Yuan, "If it weren't for His Highness's intention to protect you, I wouldn't care if you lived or died. If I find you have any ill intentions towards His Highness, I will hunt you to the ends of the earth." Chi Yuan was not intimidated. She suddenly remembered a plot from a novel. Isn't this the loyal guard falls for the arrogant prince plot? She thought to herself, I just transmigrated. How did I get involved in some strange plan for no reason? But right now, the only one I can trust is the crown prince. With that, she opened the photo album. She found that as she spent more time with the crown prince, his information in the album would be updated. Shi-Yuan hadn't realized that she seemed to have fallen for the crown prince too. She would giggle while looking through his information, and she even waited by the window. She mocked herself himself. What am I even expecting? It's not like he's going to jump down from my roof. As a result, she opened the window and saw the crown prince hanging upside down by the window. The crown prince even said warmly, "Good evening." Actually, the crown prince came specifically to tell Qi Yuan not to push herself when in danger. Also, about his relationship with Xia Honglian, the crown prince made a special effort to explain. Qi Yuan heard this and smiled. She said, "Your Highness, you're so tsundere." "You brat, what did you say?" "I came all this way to explain things to you." And he told Xi Yuan the plan. "What about Koei Malong? Who cares about him? I call the shots. The 4 kingdoms of the Xuanji realm, Huangyin Kingdom, and Xianhan Kingdom have always had good relations with Guyun Kingdom. However, Longyuan Kingdom has had a poor relationship ever since a dispute over the supreme treasure, the Xuanji Jade, 100 years ago. Half a year ago, the crown prince sent Xia Holian's father, Xia Ling, and his own man, Lu Jingkong, to Longyuan Kingdom for diplomacy. But after they returned, different assassins frequently appeared in the palace. And when caught, they were all delirious. Because ever since the emperor fell ill, the crown prince took over all affairs, replacing the old guard. Xia Ling then colluded with many factions in the palace, causing trouble everywhere. But they wouldn't dare to assassinate the royal family. However, the crown prince of Longyuan Kingdom, Qing Ziyuan, is skilled at poisoning. Those infected lose their minds and are at his mercy. And Xia Honglian, wanting to use evil arts to become the imperial consort, was used by Qing Ziyuan and became a puppet herself. Qi Yuan finally understood. So now the crown prince plans to use the misguided Xia Honglian to suppress Xia Ling's power. This is the purpose of this election. Everyone's sweet dream will eventually end because this election was a sham from the very beginning. The crown prince grabbed Qi Yuan and threw her onto the bed. Then he undressed, revealing his chest, and said, "Let's finish what we didn't finish last time." Just now, after the crown prince told Qi Yuan his plan, Qi Yuan felt for the first time the oppressive aura of an emperor emanating from this man. Suddenly, Qi Yuan wrapped her arms around the crown prince's neck and slowly leaned in. "Your Highness, I have no way to repay you." While the crown prince was caught off guard, Qi Yuan pushed him away and said, "I have no way to repay you, so I can only do my best to complete the mission." The crown prince was speechless. He was full of anticipation. Qi Yuan was laughing happily after teasing the crown prince. But she was grabbed by the lust-filled Jin Yunlai, thrown onto the bed, who said, "How dare you tease me? You've got some nerve." He undid his clothes and looked down at Qi Yuan. "Let's finish what we didn't finish last time." Qi Yuan was admitting her mistake on one hand, and on the other, begging the crown prince to calm down. But the crown prince paid no attention. "You're scared now?" "Too late." Knock, knock, knock. Someone was at the door. The crown prince was startled and quickly jumped out the window. Qi Yuan opened the door to see Tang Xian. Why did she have to come at this moment? It turned out Tang Xian heard she was being bullied by Xia Honglian again and came to visit her. She even brought spiritual wine from her family's winery for Qi Yuan to recuperate. Qi Yuan hesitated for a moment, then drank the spiritual wine. Suddenly, the wine bottle fell to the ground and Qi Yuan collapsed. And Tang Xian kept crying and saying sorry. Because if she didn't do this, Xia Honglian would burn down her family's winery and kill her family. She had no choice but to agree to Xia Honglian's request to drug Qi Yuan. Tang Xian, under Xia Honglian's orders, dealt with Qi Yuan. After giving Qi Yuan the tainted wine, Qi Yuan collapsed. At the candidate martial contest the next day, Xia Honglian once again defeated her opponent. She was about to enter the finals. Before this, the candidates participating in the contest who could be bought off with money were bought off. Those who couldn't were secretly eliminated. The rest were no match for her in terms of martial arts. Just as she thought victory was in her grasp, the host announced that Qi Yuan, who had received a bye all the way through, was entering the stage. Xia Honglian turned her head in surprise to look at Tang Xian in the audience. Tang Xian was also baffled. It turned out that not long after Qi Yuan collapsed, number 14 appeared and saved her. Qi Yuan also knew it was poison, so she only drank a little and spat it out. Qi Yuan grabbed number 14 by the collar, demanding he send her back. Number 14 told Qi Yuan that if she wanted to go back, she had to obtain the supreme treasure of a Xuanji realm, the Xuanji Jade. But the Xuanji Jade is tied to the secrets of the entire world. It's impossible for her to get it. She should just give up on that idea. Because the contest was about to start, number 14 transformed back to his original form and practiced the game mode on the phone with Qi Yuan. The system would show the success rate of each attack and the success rate of dodging an attack. But with a casual slap from number 14, the system prompted, "Cannot be dodged. Give up." Then Qi Yuan was sent flying. Back at the martial contest, although Qi Yuan's appearance was unexpected, Xia Honglian didn't take her seriously. Xia Honglian attacked first, but Qi Yuan looked relaxed. She opened the game mode cheat on her phone. The screen displayed various countermeasures. She directly followed the highest success rate of 80% and dodged to the right. Xia Honglian's attack missed. Qi Yuan couldn't help but marvel at how amazing this game mode was. After a round of fighting, Qi Yuan was unscathed, while Xia Honglian was left in a disheveled state. The crown prince thought it was because the pill he gave her was effective. Xia Ling, seeing this, quickly urged his daughter not to hold back. Xia Honglian unleashed the Red Lotus Raging Fire. A barrier surrounded the entire arena. Inside the barrier, Qi Yuan would be scorched by the Red Lotus Raging Fire and die in agony. Previously, at the candidate martial contest, Xia Honglian unleashed the Red Lotus Flame. A barrier instantly surrounded Qi Yuan. Things had clearly taken an unexpected turn. Kuei had just turned around to tell the crown prince that Qi Yuan's power might not be enough to handle it. When he found the crown prince's seat was empty, the crown prince rushed onto the stage worriedly, but was stopped by Xia Ling. "What does your highness think you're doing? This is a critical moment in the contest. Is your highness going to openly violate the rules?" The next second, the crown prince erupted with a powerful pressure. "Don't you understand? Move!" And inside the barrier, Qi Yuan was being tormented by the Red Lotus Fire. She saw her mother and younger brother from her past life. Her mother was choking her, telling her, "You were born to marry into a good family. To get enough betrothal money for your younger brother. All you do is read comics and play games all day. What will the young masters from rich families think?" And her brother grabbed her hair. "Your things are all mine." Xia Honglian looked at Qi Yuan, who was sitting on the ground. "Game consoles, comics? Where are those? Although your background is pitiful, I won't sympathize with you." She conjured a flaming spear in her hand and was about to stab it at Qi Yuan's neck. Suddenly, a burst of flame shot out from Qi Yuan's neck. Xia Honglian was sent flying. The seal on Qi Yuan's body was broken. Her hair slowly turned white, and Xia Honglian looked at the pure, white holy flame before her, the half-white hair. Could you be from the royal family? The spiritual power seal in Qi Yuan's body was broken. Pure white holy flame, half-white hair. At this moment, Xia Honglian was trembling and kneeling before Qi Yuan. How could she have the holy flame? What is her relationship with Huangyan Kingdom? Qi Yuan would definitely not let her off easy. She got up in a hurry. The only way now was to tell the people outside the truth. People from other countries are not qualified to participate in Guyun Kingdom selection. Qi Yuan reached out her hand, and the fleeing Xia Honglian was entangled by flames. Qi Yuan stepped on Xia Honglian's head. Xia Honglian was now in despair. "Since the white tiger god has abandoned me, don't blame me for defecting to another country." She shook off Qi Yuan and shouted, "Lord Qing Ziyuan, I am willing to offer everything. Please save me." Outside, the people infected by Xia Honglian's ancient art suddenly had a foot grow out of their heads. Having lost consciousness, they raised their swords. Qi Yuan looked at Xia Honglian. "You colluded with Long Yuan Kingdom, abandoning even your last shred of dignity." Suddenly, a voice appeared in Qi Yuan's ear. "Collusion? She's not worthy. A woman who can use the holy flame. What an unexpected gain." The sudden appearance of Qing Ziyuan startled Qi Yuan. She kicked at him, almost hitting Qing Ziyuan's vital parts. Qing Zin bound her with vines and said, "It seems you don't know your own identity, but it doesn't matter. I will make the most of your value. The spiritual power of the royal family. How long can it supply Long Yuan Kingdom? Decades? Centuries? It's exciting just thinking about it." At this time, outside the barrier, Jin Yunlai sensed Qing Ziyuan's presence and broke the barrier. Jin Yunlai saw Qi Yuan bound by vines. He was confused. Qi Yuan had a full head of white hair. What happened? He took Qi Yuan down. At this moment, Qi Yuan hid in Jin Yunlia's arms and secretly tattled. The crown prince was also afraid of others, seeing Qi Yuan's appearance. He thought it was best to wrap up her hair first. "T.O. be able to hit me through the barrier. You truly are something, Jin Yunlai. If I don't return the favor, how can I leave with a clear conscience?" He carefully protected Qi Yuan behind him and launched an attack on Qing Ziyuan. Qing Ziyuan said, caught off guard, suddenly starting a fight is not your style. The crown prince said domineeringly, that last strike was because you trespassed on my territory. This strike is because you touched something you shouldn't have. My woman. Previously, facing the sudden appearance of Qing Ziyuan, the crown prince protected Qi Yuan behind him. He attacked Qing Ziyuan and told him, Qi Yuan is my woman. She is not for you to touch. For the sake of our past friendship, I will let you leave with dignity. Qing Ziyuan sneered, I never thought you'd say something like this for a woman one day. Or is it that to get rid of a disloyal dog, you had no one else to choose? The two exchanged a few blows, but their words were constantly digging at each other. I almost forgot, you're still a little crown prince who hasn't ascended the throne. Jin Yunlai was not to be outdone that we, the holders of the Xuanji Jade, are starting to run low on spiritual power. I'm afraid Longyuan Kingdom won't survive this winter. At the mention of the Xuanji Jade, Qing Ziyuan lost his composure. This is all because of you. Guyun Kingdom has monopolized the Xuanji Jade for 300 years. You've been living carefree, relying on the Jade's power. The crown prince heard this and said, how unreasonable. Isn't survival of the fittest your usual mantra? At this time, Lu Jing'o and the others were also ready. With the crown prince's command, they began to chant and summon a divine scroll projection, the object of sun's glory and moon's bane. As the projection appeared, Qing Ziyuan's hands and feet were pierced and restrained, but he showed no panic. On the other side, Qi Yuan asked Kuei Malong why he wasn't helping. Kuei Malong told her, protecting you here is His Highness's order, and said, thank you for assisting us. After this is over, you will receive a large reward. Then I hope you can leave Guyun Kingdom. I have a feeling that one day you will become his greatest weakness. Qi Yuan couldn't help but feel a sense of loss after hearing this. Is it all coming to an end? There's no place for me in any world. I've always been like a curse. Just then, the phone suddenly sounded an alarm. A large amount of wood element is gathering. Retreat is advised. Qi Yuan suddenly remembered that since leaving the barrier, she hadn't seen Xia Honglian. Where did she go? The four kingdoms operating in the Xuanji realm all need the blessings of the gods. And the blessings of the gods come from the periodically appearing Xuanji Jade. The country that obtains the Xuanji Jade will have favorable weather for 100 years. Each time the Xuanji Jade descends, the sun and moon emissaries of the previous owner country can predict its location. Qing Ziyuan's purpose this time was to find out information about the Xuanji Jade, but in the end he failed. At this time, a subordinate came to report that they had caught Xia Ling trying to sneak away. The crown prince publicly listed his crimes. Each time the Xuanji Jade descends, the kings of the four countries will compete under the guidance of the emissaries. Each king bears the burden of their country's prosperity or decline. But Xia Ling brought the seed of disaster, Longyuan Kingdom, into the land blessed by the white tiger god. Even death by 1,000 cuts cannot atone for this crime of treason. The commoners below were filled with righteous indignation. Suddenly, Qing Ziyuan appeared behind the crown prince. My, what a lively scene. Can I join in? Jin Yunlai, you let your guard down. Lu Jing'o turned around and found that the Qing Ziyuan they had captured was actually Xia Honglian. At this time, Qing Ziyuan had already picked up a dagger. I've prepared a great gift for you. At this critical moment, Jin Yunlai, be careful. Qi Yuan rushed forward without a second thought and blocked the blow for the crown prince. What the hell? Why is it you? Qing Ziyuan said with dissatisfaction. Qi Yuan's injury completely enraged Jin Yunlai. The crown prince looked at his blood-stained hands. The only thought in his mind was to kill him. He struck with his sword and split Qing Ziyuan in two. At this time, in Longyuan Kingdom, Qing Ziyuan looked at the puppet in his hand and said with a pained heart, it seems I'll have to train a new puppet. As expected, it couldn't withstand a full power strike from Jin Yunlai. But sooner or later, your Xuanji Jade and that white-haired girl will be mine. Previously, Qing Ziyuan stabbed at the crown prince with a dagger. Qi Yuan took the blow for the crown prince and fell into a coma. She seemed to have a dream. When she was young, her mother would often hit her because she was a girl. All the housework was left to her, while her younger brother was doted on by the whole family. After finishing her college entrance exams, she left home to live alone. Her only companion was the crown prince in her game console. In the game, she was a beautiful princess. But a game is just a game, and she was no princess. Just then, a pair of hands reached out, gently approaching Shi-Yuan, and said, "You are a princess. 14 is not a code name, but the name you gave me, although you have long forgotten." He gave Chi-Yuan a gentle push-go. "He's waiting for you. I will always be by your side." Chi-Yuan woke up and checked herself, finding not even a wound, as expected of number 14. Chi-Yuan looked around and found the place a bit familiar. She turned her head. Jin Yunlai was standing beside her, shirtless, looking at her. Chi-Yuan let out a scream. "I prepared a lot of delicious food for you, just waiting for you to wake up. But the food on the table went cold, and you still didn't wake up. I thought I was going to lose you forever. From now on, no matter what happens, just stand behind me. I will protect you." In her past life, not a single relative cared about her. Now, someone was finally willing to give her warmth. Chi-Yuan couldn't hold back her tears anymore. After crying, the crown prince lifted Chi-Yuan up high. No matter what Chi-Yuan said, he wouldn't put her down. The crown prince asked tentatively, "You're so thin. Are you really from Guyun Kingdom?" But Chi-Yuan herself didn't know. He asked Chi-Yuan if she knew why her hair turned white. Chi-Yuan said that at the time, she just felt oppressed and uncomfortable. Suddenly, she had immense power. It seems Chi-Yuan herself doesn't know. He let Chi-Yuan go, and she fell into his arms. He told Chi-Yuan, "No matter what happens, do not associate with people from Huanyin Kingdom." Chi-Yuan asked in confusion, "Why not? Just listen to me. What, I'm a street my own woman? Hey, when did I become your woman? Wasn't the selection fake?" The crown prince said, "This selection was a plan to capture Xiaoling. You can't tell anyone. So now, you are nominally the crown princess-to-be. At this time, in a certain place in the Void Realm, the Xuanji Jade is about to descend. Is a new cycle about to begin? 14. How is that girl? The bloodline seal within her has been partially undone. Can't we just tell her the truth? In this world that worships the four spirits as gods, only by experiencing it herself can she understand us. You've worked hard for this past millennium, Yuan. It's nothing. This way, I can repay my debt to you. What kind of surprise will you bring to this world, my dear bug princess?" Because of Qiyuan's pig-like squeal, Lu Jing'o and Kuei Malong heard it and rushed over. They opened the door to see the crown prince and Qiyuan hugging. The two turned to run but were stopped by the crown prince. It's not that easy to leave. And Qiyuan took this opportunity to think. She had never been in a relationship in her past life. She was going to get married at 18. Coming from modern society, she still told the crown prince her thoughts. After hearing her refuse to be the crown princess, the crown prince pushed Qiyuan against the wall. "I must have misheard just now. I'll give you one more chance to think carefully before you answer." Unexpectedly, Qiyuan rejected the crown prince again. The crown prince coughed up blood on the spot. Lu Jing'o snickered. His Highness, who has been single for over 20 years, has hit a wall. The crown prince thought that after he ascended the throne, the crown princess would be the empress. He couldn't understand and asked Qiyuan why she disagreed. Qiyuan said she couldn't accept polygamy. Polygamy? Who told you that? To ensure we have enough energy to raise the next generation. The crown princes are basically monogamous, and the requirements for the crown prince are even stricter. To avoid unnecessary trouble, His Highness is forbidden from associating with women before marriage. You are the first woman of similar age that His Highness has had close contact with. Lu Jing'o said, "It's much easier for others. For example, I've dated several." "You brat, are you proud of that?" The crown prince felt he might have been too hasty. He arranged for Kuei Malong to prepare clothes and take Qiyuan out of the palace for a stroll tomorrow to relax. To prevent Qiyuan's white hair from being discovered, the crown prince concealed part of her power and instructed her to only use it when necessary in the future. At this time, the emotionally unintelligent Kuei Malong and Lu Jing'o reminded the crown prince, "It's very late. We should let Miss Qiyuan rest. Qiyuan hasn't agreed to be the crown princess, so you can't live together." The crown prince had no choice but to agree, grabbing Lu Jing'o and saying, "Tonight, you'll spend the night with me in the training grounds." That night, the screams from the training grounds didn't stop until the latter half of the night. After they left, Qiyuan opened her phone and found that after the martial contest, her level had risen to 30. She also had 2 new skills. One of them was a skill called Lie. After removing the restriction, she could use the Holy Flame, NAMA-MANGAI fire. Level unlocked to the 8th century. Seeing this skill, Chi Yuan was in a great mood. This is the kind of cheat a protagonist should have. She set an alarm for tomorrow on her phone and went to sleep. Thinking about going out tomorrow, she really looked forward to the next day. One day, in the capital of Guyun Kingdom, the crown prince was on a date with Chi Yuan. It was Chi Yuan's first time out of the palace, and she was curious about everything. She looked at all the small animals and local products of Guyun Kingdom. The crown prince picked a hair ornament for Chi Yuan and put on her. Taking this opportunity, he secretly kissed Chi Yuan's cheek. Chi Yuan shouted, "You perverted golden retriever. What did you just call me? You used to call me Shorty and stuff." "That's right. Then I'll call you Yuan, little Yuan, cutie." "Never mind, just call me Shorty." They stood on the bridge, and Chi Yuan happily watched the red lanterns in the sky. In this happy moment, Chi Yuan couldn't help but think of what Kuei Malong had said to her, asking her to leave Guyun Kingdom and Jin Yunlai. She suddenly let go of Jin Yunlia's hand. Do I really have the right to stand by their side? The next day, Chi Yuan packed her things and decided to leave. She planned to go to the fire element Huangyin Kingdom first. Maybe she could find out something about this body. Lu Jing'o suddenly opened the door and came in, saying, "All packed. Don't be nervous. I won't tell anyone you're trying to run away. Besides, His Highness sent me. His Highness won't make things difficult for you. Even if you don't stay in the palace, he hopes you'll be happy in the future. Let's go. You can't leave the palace without a token. I'll take you out." Lu Jing'o finally brought Chi Yuan to the place. Chi Yuan pushed open the door and saw the ministers all bowing respectfully. "We, your subjects, greet the crown princess." Jin Yunlai, on the main seat, said, "Today is the day of my wedding. I have specially invited you all to witness it." Chi Yuan stood there and finally realized, "You tricked me. You were already mine. Trying to escape from me? It's impossible in this lifetime." The crown prince stroked Chi Yuan's smooth hair. He pushed Chi Yuan onto the bed and gently bit her ear. "Now I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do." Just now, Chi Yuan, who was trying to sneak away, was tricked by the crown prince into the wolf's den. Under the glory of the white tiger god, it was declared, Chi Yuan, the winner of the martial contest, is to be married to His Highness the Crown Prince. And so, Chi Yuan became the crown princess. That night, the crown prince was arranging Chi Yuan's hair. The crown prince looked at Chi Yuan's expression, which seemed a bit reluctant. Actually, Chi Yuan wasn't sure about her feelings for the crown prince. Was it dependence or love? At this moment, the crown prince pushed her down. Chi Yuan yelled, "What are you doing? You've been pushed down so many times. Aren't you used to it yet?" "Of course, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do." After Jin Yunlai finished speaking, he gently bit Chi Yuan's ear. He looked at Chi Yuan, reached out to undress her, but found her body trembling. The crown prince fell silent and wrapped Chi Yuan up. "Don't worry. I won't do anything to you if you don't agree." He decided not to force Chi Yuan anymore. The crown prince hoped that Chi Yuan could securely hold the position of crown princess for half a year to prevent other families from sending in other strange women and to consolidate his own imperial power. "In half a year, I will officially ascend the throne. If I can win you over by then, you will officially become my empress. How about it? What if I'm still not willing by then? Then no matter where you run to, I will catch you and tie you to my side." At this time, in Huangyin Kingdom, the white-haired man dreamed of his sister again. She was being burned to death in a sea of flames. He woke up with a start from his sleep, this dream again. It turned out the white-haired man was the king of Huangyin. He woke up. The sun and moon emissaries were dressing him, listening to their report. The blessing of Huangyin Kingdom is now complete. The demonic spirits that flowed out from Longyuan Kingdom have also been temporarily cleared. Looking outside, Guyun Kingdom has just stabilized its internal affairs. Jin Yunlai must be extremely busy. Speaking of Jin Yunlai, the sun and moon emissaries said, "That arrogant tyrant. I heard before that he would never be interested in women. I never thought that a month ago he would become interested in a woman. That woman is also very special, of common birth, yet she can see through the origin of all things at a glance. Zhang Xing, I'm going to Guyun Kingdom to have a look. If there's anything urgent during this time, send a message to me immediately. Your Highness, are you still going to look for her? Whether she's alive or dead, I must bring her back to her homeland. Are you two going to stop me?" The sun and moon emissaries immediately knelt down and said, "Of course not, because you are our god." At this time, in Guyun Kingdom, Kuei Malong was fighting a snake spirit. Chi Yuan was cheering on the side. Chi Yuan, through the game mode on her phone, told Kuei Malong that its tail was its weak point. In a short while, The snake spirit was cut in two by Kuei Mulong. Qi Yuan used her cheat to find the demonic spirit's weakness and help Kuei Mulong defeat the snake spirit. Qi Yuan, who had never seen such a scene, looked at the two halves of the snake spirit and threw up a pile of rainbow candy. As they were about to leave, who knew the snake spirit wasn't completely dead? It opened its bloody mouth and charged at Qi Yuan. Qi Yuan threw a punch without turning back. She walked away without even looking at it. Kuei Mulong praised, "You seem to be able to control that power a little more skillfully, thanks to your spiritual art guidance over the past month." Qi Yuan said she also wanted to become stronger, strong enough to help Jin Yunlai by his side. Inside the palace, the two reported to the crown prince that the demonic spirits had been cleared. "How many times have I told you not to run out and fight? Why don't you listen?" Qi Yuan said she also wanted to help to eliminate those monsters quickly, "And I also want to reach your level soon." "You're still far from reaching our level. Why do I feel like you've lost weight again? When can I fatten you up?" The crown prince pinched Qi Yuan's butt and said, "And this needs to be bigger for childbearing." Over a month ago, after the selection ended, Long Yuan Kingdom released many demonic spirits. It wasn't just Guyun Kingdom that was attacked. The other two kingdoms also suffered large-scale attacks. Where did Qing Ziyuan's power come from? What is his purpose? It's all unknown. At night, Qi Yuan looked at the table of delicious food the crown prince had prepared for her and suddenly thought of the food from the other world. At this moment, a hand reached out. "Want some potato chips?" Number 14 suddenly appeared, floating, and even brought potato chips. But every time he appeared, he scared Qi Yuan half to death. Number 14 said his superiors had given him a long vacation. "I have time to watch over you now. Aren't you happy?" The extremely bored Qi Yuan begged Jin Yunlai to let her out, even if it was just to patrol the palace. Jin Yunlai said, "Right now, demonic spirits have appeared all over Guyun Kingdom. It's not safe for you to go out alone. When I'm done with this, I'll take you out to travel and have fun, okay? It seems I'll have to stay cooped up in the palace for a while. Games, comics, I miss you guys so much." At this time, in Qi Yuan's room, number 14 was reading news from the real world to Qi Yuan that what's the use of collecting this news? I can't see it or play it. I should have asked you to memorize a novel and read it to me. Didn't I tell you? It's not like you can't go back. As long as you get the Xuanji Jade, any wish can be fulfilled. Don't be ridiculous. That's something kings compete for. Besides, if I go back, what if I ruin the plan you brought me here for? No, I just want to see you make a choice and reach an ending. Just like the games you've played. Different choices lead to different endings. However, all of this is real. And this is not the first time we've met. Qi Yuan suddenly saw some fragmented images in her mind. Number 14 quickly changed the subject. "You were so fierce just now, you triggered my defensive spiritual art. It might make you see strange illusions. Don't worry about it. Look, the weather is so nice today. Don't you want to go out and play?" Meanwhile, after Qi Yuan left the crown prince, Lu Jing'o came to report, "Your Highness, His Majesty is waiting for you in the Divine Palace." Previously, the king of Guyun suddenly summoned Jin Yunlai. Jin Yunlai hurried over. Lu Jing'o specially reminded him to be mindful of his etiquette when meeting the Divine Lord. This short, yellow-haired person is the current king of Guyun. Because he suffered a fatal injury while fighting for Xuanji Jade, his body was transformed by the White Tiger God and merged with him. So Jin Yunlai also addresses him as Lord White Tiger God. At this time, the White Tiger God informed Jin Yunlai that the Xuanji Jade is about to descend. During the battle for it, the Divine Dream will teleport you back when you are on the verge of death. But that half-dead state is worse than death. Will you back down? "No, this is my mission." The White Tiger God asked, "I heard you got married. The child has finally grown up. What kind of girl is she?" Jin Yunlai blushed and said, "She's small, soft, and like a glutinous rice ball." His father sneered, "Interesting. I'd really like to meet this girl." At this time, Qi Yuan and number 14 were preparing to sneak out of the palace. Number 14 modified a set of men's clothing from modern clothes for Qi Yuan to wear. The two secretly climbed the city wall. Qi Yuan looked outside the wall and said worriedly, "Maybe we should find another way out. Don't be afraid. With me here, no accidents will happen." As soon as he said that, an accident happened. They both fell, but Qi Yuan lost her grip and fell. Just as number 14 was about to undo his transformation to save Qi Yuan, feathers suddenly floated around. Qi Yuan saw a person in the sky with wings. Could it be an angel? While Qi Yuan was still dazed, the king of Huangyan, Qi Li, had already safely saved her. Facing the angel-like man who saved her, Qi Yuan opened her mouth and said, "Excuse me, can you stay a little further away from me?" As soon as she said that, she couldn't hold it in anymore and threw up. After Xiwan finished throwing up, Qili wiped her mouth clean. Xiwan just felt that this man before her was very gentle. But this is near the Giyun Imperial Palace. What are you doing here? Suddenly, a demonic spirit appeared behind them. Qiyuan protected him behind her. Damn it, I haven't patrolled near the palace. A demonic spirit has indeed invaded. You get back. Demonized spiritual beasts have very high attack power. Run. Suddenly, Qiyuan was pulled over and protected in an embrace. At this time, the demonic spirit had arrived and opened its bloody mouth at them. Qi Li's forehead glowed. Frenzied forest spirit, please leave. The surroundings were instantly engulfed in flames. Facing the powerful demonic spirit, the king of Huangyan protected Qiyuan, raised his hand, and unleashed a powerful flame. The demonic spirit before them was instantly submerged in a sea of fire. When Xiwan opened her eyes, she saw that the demonic spirit had been roasted. The king of Huangyan just said modestly, it was just a coincidence. It was of the wood attribute, so I happened to counter it. In response to Qiyuan's question, he concealed his identity. I am a traveling merchant from Huangyan Kingdom. The Lantern Festival of Guyun Kingdom is here, so I came to see it. Huangyan Kingdom? The Crown Prince said that no matter what, I should not associate with people from Huangyan Kingdom. But to find out about her own background, Qiyuan still called out to the king of Huangyan who was about to leave. To avoid her identity being discovered, Qiyuan used her previous life's name, Xiwan.my name is Li, as in separation. I remember that in Huangyan Kingdom, most people with white hair are from the royal family. Could it be that, Brother Li, you are from the royal family? Of course not. It's very popular in Huangyan Kingdom now to dye one's hair white, to experience the feeling of being royalty. Xiwan actually believed him. So that's how it is. That's so casual. Just then, some hooligans were causing trouble on the street. A kettle flew towards Qiyuan. The king of Huangyan stood up and blocked the kettle. Before it could get close to him, the water had already evaporated. At this time, the hooligan was stepping on a little boy on the ground and was about to teach him a lesson. But his hand was caught by Qiyuan. Uncle, can you please not hit him? Let's sit down and talk things out. Kid, you want a beating too? Qiyuan suddenly slapped him, sending him flying. Qiyuan learned that the man was a local bully. Not only did he snatch the lanterns the little boy made, but he also smashed the shop. Qiyuan grabbed the man and threatened him to pay for the lanterns and the repair fees. Who do you think you are? An effeminate man, the crown prince's male pet. Xiwan unleashed her aura, and the mark on her forehead faintly appeared. The man immediately backed down, and on the side, the king of Huangyan's forehead also showed the same mark. He smiled and said, "Found you." After dealing with the hooligan, Xiwan learned that the little boy was selling lanterns to buy medicine for his sick mother. So she also gave the little boy some money. Out of sympathy, Xiwan stayed to help the little boy make lanterns. She suddenly remembered that she was busy with the boy's affairs, and Li was still on the side. I'm sorry, I have to go help that little brother. I might not be able to accompany you to the Lantern Festival. It's okay. I was also thinking of bringing back some of Guyun's lantern-making techniques. I'll help too. Xiwan suddenly felt that the merchants in this world were so kind. You're such a good person. At night, who knew that the hooligan from the daytime came back? Looking at the already made lanterns, he sneered in his heart, "You made me lose face. I'll smash them every time you make them." Suddenly, he saw a feather, and the hooligan turned his head in confusion. Li had been waiting for him for a long time. With a scream, the hooligan never appeared again. The next day, Xiwan snuck out of the palace in a cargo cart. If I had known it was this easy, I wouldn't have foolishly jumped off the cliff with number 14 last time. Number 14 appeared silently. Oh, you have a problem with that? By the way, what do you think of him? Now that you mention it, I had a strange feeling at first. It was the first time, but I felt like I had known him for a long time. Anyway, he's much more reliable than you. Suddenly, Li greeted them. Xiwan greeted him back while trying to block number 14. It would be bad if others saw him. Number 14 said calmly, "Did you forget who I am? Ordinary people can't see me. Is this your younger brother? So cute," Qi Li said, stroking number 14's head. Number 14 was seen by Qi Li and was even roped into helping. Number 14 was now they're making lanterns. Because he couldn't be seen, he almost scared the child to tears. Xiwan explained, "That's my brother's spiritual art. Don't be afraid." Number 14, didn't you say ordinary people can't see you? How could that young man see you? There are always some special lucky ones. How could I forget? That guy was transformed by a god long ago. the group helped the little boy sell lanterns. Li was so handsome that he attracted a few women who asked for his contact information, but he rejected them all. The two followed his doting gaze and saw a young man, Chi Yuan in disguise, selling lanterns. The two felt like a whole new world had opened up to them. Sorry to bother you. May you be happy. The lanterns sold out quickly. To thank them, the little boy invited them to his home. The little boy went to buy some things first. On the way, Li gave Chi Yuan a lantern. They saw a crowd of commoners gathered ahead. They used the money they had saved for half a year to buy snacks. They prayed to the white tiger god just to change their fate. And in front of them was a portrait of the white tiger god. The others noticed that Chi Yuan wasn't there to pray and threw her out. That it's not strange. In places you've never noticed, the commoners are all like this, consuming treasures and snacks rich in spiritual power in front of a god's portrait allows the god to hear their prayers and change their fate. Private ownership of portraits is illegal, so the common people can only gather around the portraits posted by the government. The prayer snacks are extracted from the bodies of spiritual creatures. Ordinary people have to save money for a long time just to afford one. You can't just look at the surface of things. Being too kind can be counterproductive. Sure, Yuan was a bit confused by what she heard, but after a while, the group soon arrived at the little boy's home. Chi Yuan discovered that the little boy's home was very dusty and had a strange smell. No, it's very clean over there. Chi Yuan went over to take a look. What's with such a large portrait? Meanwhile, His Highness Huang Yinwang's power is not to be underestimated. You'd better be careful. Jin Yunlai was heard saying, "To catch the lost cat, I alone am enough." Chi Yuan's group arrived at the little boy's home. They found that there was nothing in his house. Suddenly, a mouse scurried out of a jar. It scared Chi Yuan into screaming. She quickly ran to Shi Si's side for protection. Such a large portrait of the white tiger god on the wall. Not to mention, it's illegal for a private citizen to own a portrait of the white tiger god. But such a large painting would cost a lot of money. Just then, the little boy returned from his shopping. He opened his bag to reveal that he had bought all snacks. To repay Chi Yuan, he even gave her one. Weren't you going to buy medicine for your mother? What are you talking about? When you earn money, you should first offer it to the great god. Only what's left can be for mom. But this time, there was no money left at all. After speaking, the little boy began praying in front of the portrait by himself to change his fate. At this moment, Chi Li said, "The fight for the Xuanji Jade is clearly a war, yet the gods have set a series of rules. They neither allow the defeated nation to snatch it back later, nor do they allow it to be shared with other countries. To use the Jade's power to change one's fate, one can only wait for the next century." Doesn't that sound interesting? Just like a game. What do you think, you the one outside the door? At this, the door burst open with a bang. Enough. This king has never treated this as a game. But toward Chi Yuan, he was incredibly doting. Whose young lady is this? What are you doing out so late instead of being at home? Chi Yuan had no choice but to quickly admit her mistake. All right, what are you apologizing for? I was just scaring you. It will be better if you just stepped aside. Don't pay any attention to what that white hair guy says. After confirming Chi Yuan was safe, he turned and struck at Huang Yinwang. Chi Li, you came to my territory as you pleased and followed my consort around. Did you get my permission? That's a question I should be asking you. Did you get my permission to marry her as your consort? The innocent Chi Yuan was still surprised that they actually knew each other. So you knew my identity from the very beginning. Huang Yinwang no longer pretended. He laid his cards on the table. I am the king of Huang Yin and also your royal brother. 7 years ago, you were deemed a demoness who endangered Huang Yin and were personally executed by our father king. I made a deal with the vermilion bird god. I placed you on the border of Huyun to extend your life until you are 18. After you turn 18, your soul will dissipate. So whose soul do you have now? Jin Yunlia's face darkened as he interrupted him. No matter what happened in the past, from the moment you all abandoned her, she was no longer a person of your Huangyin kingdom. Stay away from her. And what if I say no? The strongest white tiger, huh? Now, the title of strongest might be about to change hands. Jin Yunlai attacked Huang Yinwang as a warning, but Huang Yinwang didn't seem to care at all. The two instantly clashed fiercely. Powerful spiritual energy lit up the night. Shi Yuan watched the two fighting in the sky, the light as bright as the sun. Suddenly, she felt so insignificant. And such an insignificant candle flame like herself had deluded herself into thinking she could illuminate others. In the end, there was nothing left. I should have realized long ago that I was too naive. At this moment, Shirsi appeared in Qi Yuan's dream and informed her of the situation in the Xuanji world. With Shirsi's help, Qi Yuan instantly sprouted beautiful wings. Just now, the golden-haired prince and Qi Li had an intense battle. Qi Yuan was so shocked by it that she fainted on the spot. She hid in her own dream, playing games to escape reality. Suddenly, Shirsi appeared in her dream. Outside, your fiancé and your older brother are fighting. Aren't you going to do something about it? You saw it too. That kind of power is not something a person like me can interfere with. You wanted the power of the Huanyin princess to fight for the Xuanji Jade. That's why you brought me here, right? After you get it, what do you plan to do? Become some new god? Did you know? Originally, the people of this world were the same as in the real world, with no spiritual arts or spiritual power. Until one day, the celestial martial spirit god descended without authorization and gathered the spirit gods. They reshaped the humans of this world, giving them spiritual powers corresponding to their attributes. The history of the Xuanji world restarted from that day. Those people, even if it meant bankrupting their families and abandoning their wives and children, still fantasized about relying on these gods to change their so-called fate. But when the common people learn their true intentions, they might fall into true madness. Although I want to obtain the Xuanji Jade, whether to fight for it or not, and what to do with it after obtaining it, will be up to you to decide. After Si finished speaking, beautiful wings grew on Qi Yuan's body. Shi Yuan was also startled looking at these wings. Come on, there is now something that needs you to complete. Different choices will lead to different endings. Stop Jin Yunlai or stop Qi Li. Make a choice. With Si's help, Shi Yuan grew wings. She had to leave the dream because outside, her fiancé and her brother were in a huge fight. And at this moment, Jin Yunlai and Qi Li were outside. You thought they were fighting? Actually, they were playing Gamoku. It's about time we talked business. What did you really come here for this time? To take her back to the Huanyin kingdom. That was the original plan. Meanwhile, Shi Yuan also saw the two of them outside and said angrily, I was lying on the floor for so long, and they didn't even notice? They're still happily playing Gamoku over there. But even though they weren't fighting, Si indicated that she now had to make a choice. Shi Yuan declared that only children make choices. I'll take both of them. Qi Yuan woke up from her stupor, looked at the two who were happily playing, and said, You two guys, stop playing with me. But in the next second, the two of them pulled Qi Yuan into a game of Monopoly. You said before that in the place you used to live, getting married requires a bride price, right? My house and carriage are all yours. Don't you worry about a thing. From now on, this is your home. After saying that, he walked outside. Have a good chat. I'll wait for you outside. Only Qi Li and Qi Yuan were left in the room. Qi Yuan spoke first. I look exactly like your sister, but I'm from another world. I didn't mean to occupy her body. I want to hear your plans for this body. Qi Li said that with that white tiger around. You know I can't touch you, so don't worry. I never had much hope for him from the start. It was something that was destined long ago. Before, I was holding onto a sliver of hope, but the moment I came into contact with you, I understood. You're not like him at all. In the Huangyin kingdom, the wings of ordinary people are pure red, but the wings of the royal family have special colors. For hundreds of years, it has always been people with black and red wings like Qi Li who become king. But Qi Li's sister awakened these fantastical wings. Originally, it should have been the sister who became king, but the resources had already been piled onto Qi Li. Plus, after a girl becomes king, her children cannot inherit her spiritual power. Because her talent was astonishing, the previous king of Huangyin declared to the public that you attempted to harm the great god and had you directly executed. A clean solution. That's too much. It's not like it was her choice. Is that a crime too? There's no other way. When you're in the vortex, those are the rules. Qi Li said with a look of shame, I failed to protect you. I'm sorry. Anyway, didn't you buy her 18 years of life? If you don't mind, just think of me as your sister. At this moment, Si looked at the comic on his phone and said, This life's choice is different from the last one. What will change? Speaking of which, that guy made a deal with the Vermilion Bird. It's almost time for him to pay the price. Now that the matter is resolved, Qi Li said he should be heading back. Don't go to the Huangyin kingdom. Take care of yourself. Live peacefully and safely in Huiyun. Or take revenge on all of Huangyin. Take back everything that is yours and become the new king. If it's the second option, then come after the battle for supremacy. I will get the Xuanji Jade and help you take the throne. Since it has become an unchangeable fate, then I will bear it all. Don't be ridiculous. A life that should be their own to lead, yet they only focus on praying to the gods. Friends they've known since childhood can only end up killing each other. There must be a way. I will save you all. Chile turned back with a smile and said, I look forward to it. That day, he threw a lantern to Jin Yunlai. Jin Yunlai, we'll meet at the battle for supremacy. Back in the room, Qi Yuan asked Jin Yunlai if he had known all along that she was Qi Li's sister. But Jin Yunlai stammered about that matter. Before he could finish, Qi Yuan said, silly. Thank you. Let's go home. Jin Yunlai took Qi Yuan to stroll through the Lantern Festival's evening fair. Shi Yuan suddenly realized that it seemed like all the lanterns on this street were made by her. So all those customers were arranged by you. The prince took the opportunity to kiss Qi Yuan's forehead and asked Shi Yuan, where's my lantern? You must have secretly saved a particularly beautiful one for me at the end. Shi Yuan thought to herself, busted. As punishment, Shi Yuan had to eat the buns the prince made. Just then, a subordinate delivered a letter. At this time, in another place, Brother Lai has agreed to attend my coming-of-age ceremony. Prepare the surprise I have for him. Inside Huyun City, a carriage flew through the air. I'm getting off first. The terrified maid quickly hugged her. Your Highness, please don't jump. You can't fly. Don't worry, my armor rating is very high. At this moment, Qi Yuan was in the city clearing out demonic spirits. Good morning. The demonic spirits have been cleared. How many times can you save them? You also know that their hearts are only with the gods. There will be no reward. By the way, if I get the Xuanji Jade, I think I know what I want to do. Shi Yuan told Shi to come a little closer, then suddenly pressed her face against Shi's and said, I'm not telling you. This left Shi flustered. What did you learn to be so mischievous? At this moment, another person who looked a lot like her appeared beside Shi Yuan. Tell me what wish you have for the Xuanji Jade too. Go away. I wasn't talking to you. Shi, lately, I've been seeing some strange illusions. The person in the carriage also saw Qi Yuan eliminating the demonic spirits and couldn't help but say, how impressive. That little lowly is worthy of being the one brother Lai has his eyes on. She's really cute. At his own doorstep, Jin Yunlai was tackled by a person with long purple hair and fainted. This person even claimed to be Jin Yunlai's first love. Touching Qi Yuan's chest, they also said Qi Yuan was so small and cute. Just this morning, Qi Yuan suddenly felt breathless and very uncomfortable. When she woke up, she found Shi lying on her quilt. She kicked Shi away. She told Shi that her body has been acting strange lately. Shi asked what was wrong. Shi Yuan said she couldn't control her form. Look, Shi said it was just updating, nothing to worry about. Qi Yuan was about to go get something to eat. She ran into the prince who had come to feed her. Qi Yuan quickly blocked the doorway, but she was still caught by the prince. The prince kept putting food on Qi Yuan's plate. Shi, watching from the side, was also speechless. These two were showing off their affection first thing in the morning, completely ignoring him. Every time the prince fed her, the affection level between Qi Yuan and the prince increased. Finally, the prince put his arm around Qi Yuan's neck and said, I'm hungry too. As the two became more intimate, Jin Yunlai's profile information on the phone was continuously enriched. Before long, there was a knock on the door. A guard said that the envoy from the Xianhan kingdom had arrived. As soon as they stepped out, they heard someone shout, Brother Lai. A purple figure flashed by, and Jin Yunlai temporarily fainted. Brother Lai, I can't believe I finally have one stat that surpasses yours. Let go of him. Who are you? I'm the envoy here to invite you all to my royal brother's coming-of-age ceremony. Sister, you must be the crown princess that Brother Lai has taken a fancy to. After saying that, he reached out and touched Qi Yuan's chest. Oh my, so cute and so small. Then let me tell you something else, sister. I'm Brother Lai's first love, you know. Brother Lai and I have known each other since we were very young. What do you have to compare with me? As she spoke, her hand was about to sneak over again. Just then, Jin Yunlai woke up. Get lost. If you lay a hand on my woman again, I'll chop off your hand. Fortunately, a guard came out to mediate and apologize, which is how he was let off. Meanwhile, Qi Yuan was on the side, secretly preparing to scan him to see his background, but she was stopped. You can't. I just took a fall. The picture won't look good. Qi Yuan looked at this pretentious person and was about to lose her patience. Shorty, don't get too close to that person. Is he really your first love? Don't tell me you're jealous. At night, Shi and Qi Yuan were sneaking around on a rooftop, holding itching powder. and the room below was steamy. It turned out the envoy from the Xianhan kingdom was taking a bath inside, and he didn't know that at this moment, two people were peeping from the rooftop. Shi Yuan held the itching powder, wanting revenge for what happened during the day. But fearing that the origin of the itching powder would be traced, she decided to just go in and give him a scare. At this moment, Shi seemed to sense something. He stopped Qi Yuan, just as he was about to speak, and warned Qi Yuan. A voice echoed in his mind. Do not interfere. Shi had to give up. Forget it. If anything happens, call out for me loudly. I will protect you. Qi Yuan thought Shi was being overly cautious. As a result, she accidentally slipped and fell. Falling into the water, she only felt a very strong water attribute that made it impossible for her to use her strength. At this moment, the Xianhan envoy also discovered her. He pulled Qi Yuan out of the water. Just then, Qi Yuan discovered that this person actually had a solid chest. Qi Yuan apologized to him with an embarrassed look on her face. Sister, next time you want to see me like this, just use the main door. You're welcome anytime. Shi Yuan let out a pig-like squeal. At this moment, Shi Yuan remembered what Jin Yunlai had told her. This prince of the Xianhan kingdom is very powerful, even stronger than the king of Xianhan. It's just that his mind isn't quite right. He always likes to dress up as a woman. At this moment, Shi Yuan, with a grim face, said, I seem to remember you touching my chest. Shi Yuan chased after this prince. White hair, white fire, and wings. This is brother Li's legendary sister. He raised his hand to block the flames. He found that using his Xian weapon was no match for the Huangyan holy fire. Helpless, he had no choice but to beg for mercy and tell Shi Yuan a secret. He knew about the thing in her hand called his cell phone. Shi Yuan also wanted to know if there were others in this world who had transmigrated like her. The Xianhan envoy said he also learned about it from that fifth mysterious one who abandoned the earth element and never descended, Huanglong. As mentioned in the last episode, after Shi Yuan discovered that this Xianhan prince was a man, she chased after the Xianhan prince to avenge the assault on her chest. The Xianhan prince had no choice but to beg for mercy and tell her what he knew about the real world. When he was young, one of his eyes was injured and he could barely see. One day, a wish-granting genie who claimed to be omnipotent wanted to make a contract with him to make the Xianhan prince a savior. The Xianhan prince did not agree, but that guy still gave the Xianhan prince something. Shi Yuan looked at this thing. Aren't these just glasses? This thing that could be used without spiritual power felt magical to him. From then on, he had always looked forward to meeting someone related to that world. Qi Yuan wanted to hear him continue. The Xianhan prince suddenly hugged Qi Yuan and said, You want to know? Give me a kiss, and I'll tell you. Just as he finished speaking, he felt a murderous aura from behind. Xianhan was being choked. Say that again. What do you want her to do? The two of them knelt miserably before Jin Yunlai. Just as they were wondering how to explain, Jin Yunlai picked Qi Yuan up from the ground. Seeing this, the Xianhan prince immediately hugged Jin Yunlai's thigh and said, Brother, how can you show such favoritism? I'm your baby too. Jin Yunlai got goosebumps all over. He kicked him away. If you weren't the prince of Xianhan, this king would have thrown you in the dungeon by now. Why are you punishing me? This is my room, you know? Jin Yunlai also felt that this disobedient little cat needed to be properly disciplined. You are the crown princess. It's not good for us to always live apart. Tonight, you will spend the night in this king's bedchamber. Shi Yuan suddenly felt that this was not good. Inside the prince's room, Shi Yuan was still explaining. Jin Yunlai said that's not what he really cared about. I've always been the one to take the initiative. How do you really see me? This king can't wait any longer. The next day, Shi saw Qi Yuan returning with a shy expression and curiously asked what happened last night. It turned out that last night, just as the prince was about to unleash his cosmos, he suddenly ran out of power. He fell asleep at such a critical moment. It must be because he was preparing for that coming-of-age ceremony. It wore him out. If I tell him I'm not from this world, and that I might even go after the Xuanji Jade, what would he think of me? I see. You were forcibly kissed. What are you shy about? Don't you like him? I haven't thought about that. I've always been very grateful to him for taking me in and protecting me. I always thought I was just acting out a sense of gratitude. But that day, when that Xianhan prince lied to me and said he was Jin Yunlai's first love, I felt very upset inside. Is this proof that I like him? That's something you need to figure out for yourself. You're an adult, after all. Have you never liked anyone before? When I was very young, there was a little boy who was very good to me, but I can't remember his face anymore. Whenever Shi Yuan thought about this, her head would hurt. Shi told Qi Yuan not to think about it and to go to sleep quickly. I've already interfered too much. It was clearly cleared up, but to think some of it still remains. What am I even expecting? The next day, everyone set off for the Xianhan kingdom as planned. The Xianhan prince came over early in the morning to say hello. Looking at the atmosphere between Qi Yuan and Jin Yunlai, he couldn't help but say, "What happened between you two last night?" Shi Yuan thought to herself, "This kid really knows how to touch a sore spot." Jin Yunlai said to Qi Yuan, "Because the environment on the road is harsh and there will be demonic spirits, stay close to me so I can protect you." The Xianhan prince suddenly appeared and directly carried Qi Yuan into his own carriage. "Before we get back to Xianhan, I'll borrow him first. I'll take good care of him. Don't worry." Jin Yunlai was left standing there, gritting his teeth and saying after them. Xianyaja, right in front of Jin Yunlai, carried Qi Yuan and ran off. In the carriage, Xianyaja was trying to seduce Qi Yuan. "Sister, how about you give me a try? Can you please not mess around?" "Sister, you're too old-fashioned. Don't you know there's something in this world called love at first sight? All right, out with it. What do you want from me?" "Sister, you really are smart." Xianyaja suddenly grabbed Qi Yuan, saying excitedly, "I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Quick, tell me how to make those airplanes, cell phones, and televisions that don't require spiritual power to operate." Qi Yuan had a major headache. These things are not something an ordinary person can master. "All right, after all this, it turns out you don't know how." Just then, Xianyaja suddenly grabbed Qi Yuan's hand and said, "It seems we've run into some trouble." They saw several sandworms in front of them. Xianyaja suddenly hugged Qi Yuan's thigh. He acted cute and said, "Sister, I'm a water attribute, so I'm countered by them, and I hate the way they look." Qi Yuan was speechless. She had to face them herself. As soon as the holy fire appeared, the sandworms exploded one after another. Xianyaja suddenly noticed the sandworms were regenerating. He quickly called for Qi Yuan to come back, but was too late. Qi Yuan was bitten on the shoulder by a sandworm and fell from the sky. Xianyaja couldn't care less. Even though he couldn't fly, he still protected Qi Yuan, activating his defensive spiritual art. "Don't worry, sister. I'll be the cushion underneath." Thanks to Xianyaja's super strong armor, they eventually landed safely. At this time on the ground, a little boy was luring the sandworms with snacks. "Are you stupid? Put that away. That worm has already brought down the carriage. Although we lured them from the abyss, it's worth it if we can catch a royal." The little boy approached the carriage, only to find no one inside. As mentioned in the last episode, Qi Yuan was injured. Now, Xianyaja is carrying the blood loss weakened Qi Yuan, looking for a place to rest. Xianyaja looked around and found a small village. Meanwhile, Xianyaja's subordinates saw the traces of condensed Xian ice left by their master. He angrily declared to bring Qi Yuan back to his side. This move terrified Xianyaja's subordinates. At this moment, Qi Yuan woke up, looking at the bandage on her shoulder. "How'd you do it? You saw everything." "Sister, you don't have to feel insecure. I genuinely like your figure. You damn pervert." Shi Yuan asked, "What is this place?" "This is a village founded by thieves. Feel free to stay." But they didn't expect to have run straight into the enemy's den. Overhearing the thieves' subordinates chatting about capturing royals, Xianyaja said their leader is a lecherous person. He asked Qi Yuan to take off her clothes so he could disguise himself as a woman to seduce them. It's safer for Qi Yuan to dress as a man. "Take this pill. It can hide your spiritual power." "All right, let me go conquer him quickly." The purple-haired prince ran out the door shouting, "Help! Can anyone help me? There are terrifying demonic spirits outside." Xianyaja was stunned when he saw the opposing leader. Their leader was actually a woman with a male pet in her arms. The leader's gaze was immediately drawn to the cross-dressing Qi Yuan. "I've finally found you, my dear. What handsome man, a rare top-quality specimen. Come, let sister give you a hug." The male pet, "Here you," said jealously, "You clearly said you'd be responsible for me for a lifetime, but now you're abandoning me for another man." Qi Yuan had no choice but to explain that she had heard there were ginkgo trees in the central lands and had come with her cousin to learn planting methods. "Can you help me, beautiful lady?" "No problem, no problem. I'll go prepare the carriage right now. But you have to stay and be my new male pet. Don't even think about it. My brother is mine alone." Xianyaja and the female leader started cursing at each other. Outside the village, Shi watched as more and more demonic spirits were attracted by the royal's spiritual power. A voice rang out. The Xianhan prince you courted years ago has already brought him here. It's about time you met him in your true form, Huanglong. In the village, a subordinate came to report that many demonic spirits had arrived. Leader. She picked up her sword and was about to go out, instructing her male pet Yu to watch over Shi Yuan. Before she left, she had to comfort her male pet. Shi Yuan quickly covered Xianya's eyes, saying, "Little kid, don't look." And Qi Yuan unconsciously thought of the scene with Jin Yunlai again. Based on her years of experience with Otome games, if the male characters didn't get a response, it was basically a rejection. So she made up her mind to take the initiative with Jin Yunlai next time. And at this moment, Jin Yunlai was already furious. "Little Xian, if you got lost in the Central Lands by yourself, I, your big brother, would have no objections. But what are you trying to do by running off with your sister-in-law?" As mentioned in the last episode, the purple-haired prince dressed as a woman to seduce the leader of the bandit group, only to find out she was a woman. Instead, the male-disguised Qi Yuan caught her attention, and she wanted to take Qi Yuan as her male pet. Of all times, the spiritual power of Qi Yuan and the purple-haired prince attracted a large swarm of demonic spirits. The leader led her people to fight the demonic spirits. Meanwhile, Qi Yuan and Xianyaja observed from the side. Qi Yuan felt that the leader's male pet was very suspicious. Xianyaja silently turned to look at the male pet. "My purpose in coming here is not just to collect ginkgo. The main reason is definitely to meet Huanglong." The female leader, having returned victorious, threw a grand celebration banquet. Taking advantage of the merry atmosphere, Shi Yuan asked the female leader why she lived here. It turned out the female leader was formerly from the Longyuan kingdom. Because she was of the earth attribute and her spiritual power was too weak, she was discriminated against by those around her since childhood. Because the earth attribute was abandoned by the gods, her parents originally loved them very much, until one day, after they went to see the gods' portraits, her parents became solely focused on offering spirit stones to the gods. Slowly, she gathered many people of the same attribute. Shi Yuan deeply understood the female leader's plight. She decided to help the people here. "Although from my position, I shouldn't help you, but when I was at my most helpless, someone gave me support." Shi Yuan changed back to her original appearance, murmuring, "If he were here, he would surely do the same. And I like you very much too." Suddenly, a voice came from outside. "Didn't I teach you not to turn your back on the enemy during a battle?" he said, pulling Qi Yuan into an embrace. "Also, the words, 'I like you' can only be said to me. Wait, what's with this outfit? Take it off. Really, I can't stay calm when I see you. You are my woman. I won't allow you to have the scent of another man on you." These few moves instantly flustered Qi Yuan. Shi Yuan felt she had to take the initiative, but the words just wouldn't come out when they reached her lips. Fortunately, the sun and moon envoy arrived just in time to smooth things over, asking how to deal with these thieves. But the female leader would rather die than submit. "If you give up now, you'll have nothing. Didn't you say you wanted to bring happiness to the people of the earth attribute?" The female leader looked at her companions in the village and fell into deep thought. Shi Yuan told her that as long as they submitted to the Huyun kingdom, the Huyun kingdom would provide for their daily needs, but they had to report back on time. Intelligence from the Central Lands. "All right, I can agree to that, but the one I am submitting to is you. We will absolutely not obey Huyun's orders." And Jin Yunlai blocked the escaping Xianyaja. "I'll give you one last chance. Explain clearly why you brought him to the Central Lands. I have never treated you poorly. I've been too good to you? Then I will ask you for one last thing in this life. I like sister. How about you give her to me?" As mentioned in the last episode, Xianyaja and Jin Yunlai were fighting over a wife. At this moment, Jin Yunlai said, "All right, are you going to forget what you just said yourself? Or should I help you by beating you into amnesia?" Jin Yunlai was about to lose his temper. It turned out that Xianyaja had learned about the other world from Huanglong when he was a child, and had also seen Qi Yuan's cell phone. Through subtle influence, he slowly fell in love with the Qi Yuan he had never met. And bringing Qi Yuan to the Central Lands this time was also something he had promised Huanglong. He just didn't expect that Qi Yuan would actually become Jin Yunlia's crown princess. Even while being hung up and beaten, Xianyaja said that he genuinely liked Qi Yuan, but from now on, he would use his own methods to pursue her. Jin Yunlia's 40-meter-long blade could no longer be restrained. Fortunately, Chi Yuan arrived in time. What are you two doing? It looks like you just had a fight. Jin Yunlai hugged Chi Yuan and lamented, "How did I not notice before that I have an unexpected number of love rivals?" Meanwhile, the female leader, Lu Yu, said she would lead the way for Chi Yuan and the others. "Oh, Lu Yu, did you come specially to see me off? Next week, I'm marrying this kid. When you come back from Xianhan, come to my place for the banquet. You should find your own happiness soon, too. I'll have good wine ready and waiting for you." "What? Are you moved by seeing how happy they are? When we return to Huyun, you will officially marry me, okay?" As he spoke, Jin Yunlai was about to make a move. Shi Yuan looked like she was throwing caution to the wind. "Fine, if you want to kiss, then kiss. I won't be a coward anymore. What were you thinking in that little head of yours just now? Were you perhaps hoping for a kiss from me? Damn it, you're teasing me. I wasn't hoping for anything." In the Void Realm, Si was watching the scene before him, muttering to himself, "Pretty good little white tiger brat." "Lord Yu Huang, what are you mumbling about? Huang Long, I thought you wouldn't be coming back. Aren't you getting married? You saw it too. I'm just a dissipating soul now. Before I left, I already erased their memories of me. Besides, humans and gods cannot develop feelings for each other. Otherwise, the god will lose all their power. By the way, Lord Yu Huang, why have you suddenly become so interested in humans?" "I'm just bored." After Chi Yuan and the others left the Central Lands, at this moment in a room, the female leader Lu Yu sat in her room wearing a wedding dress. Her memory had been erased by Huang Long. She looked at her own attire with a puzzled expression. Suddenly, she heard a commotion outside. She walked out of the room, only to see a scene she would never forget for the rest of her life. Her companions had all been killed. She raised her blade and charged at the man to avenge her companions. But her throat was mercilessly slit. Until her death, she wanted to see the shadow in her mind, but she just couldn't remember it. The man was the second prince of the Lonyuan kingdom, Qin Yulaw. He said with a nonchalant expression, "Be a good child in your next life." And at this time in the Xianhan kingdom, Xian Yaja's coming-of-age ceremony was underway. Shi Yuan's hair was covered by a hat, but she was still discovered by the people from Huangyan. Look at her hair and the scent of her spiritual power. She's one of us. Could be Prince Qi Li's legendary sister? Jin Yunlai held her trembling hand. "What's wrong? Are you cold? If you're cold, come a little closer to me." As he spoke, he leaned in and kissed her. "What are you thinking? This is the Xianhan royal palace. What if the people from Huangyan find out?" Jin Yunlai slammed his fist on the table and said domineeringly, "In that case, let them have a good look. I wonder whose fist is harder here." Seeing the furious Jin Yunlai, the people from Huangyan broke out in a cold sweat and quickly looked for an opportunity to slip away. At this moment, Chi Yuan saw the wine on the table and wanted to drink some, but was stopped by Jin Yunlai. Girls shouldn't drink alcohol. Xian Yaja's coming-of-age ceremony certainly couldn't do without gifts. So, Jin Yunlai gave Xian Yaja a bow he had made himself. "I was originally thinking of giving you some weapons or something that could help you grow, but compared to weapons, you'd be happier with something you like." After receiving the gift, Xian Yaja looked touched, and Chi Yuan's phone rang at that moment. She took it out and saw it was a call from Si, and he had secretly changed the caller ID to his own selfie. Chi Yuan quietly went outside. She answered the call. "Why aren't you home yet?" "I have nothing to do. It's making me miss you a little." "Is that so? I suddenly want to see you too. Put down the potato chips. I can hear you secretly eating potato chips." Shi Yuan punched a tree, and unexpectedly, a person fell from the tree, knocking himself out. Just now, Shi Yuan was on the phone with Si. "One last question. Did you bring me to this world really just to use me to change this world?" Actually, the last time Chi Yuan recalled her childhood, the person who vaguely appeared in her mind really looked a bit like Si. Chi Yuan asked again, "Have we met before?" "Of course we have. To be precise, I don't remember how many versions of you I've met. I never paid attention to you before, you who were so insignificant as a human, until after that time. Well, human, have you decided on your wish?" "Yes, please resurrect him. I want to be with him forever." "I will grant your wish." That time, she had already obtained the Xuanji Jade. She was just one step away. That time, he, as Yu Huang, was moved by the Chi Yuan before him. That was the first time he had noticed this human. "Lord Yu Huang, I sincerely hope that you too can have your own name and find your own happiness. However, it's not that you can't touch the stars, but that I can never get close. We have not met. I'm just using you. That's all. The call on the other end had already been disconnected. Right, I said something very harsh again. At this moment, Shi Yuan was in full sprint mode. That bastard kid, he cremated my original body. I'm not getting involved in your stupid plan anymore. I knew from the beginning that guy had a motive for bringing me to this world. But why, when I hear him say it himself, am I so incredibly pissed off? Shi Yuan angrily punched the tree. The next second, a person fell from the tree. What the hell? A man falling from a tree. What kind of bad luck am I having today? This person was the second prince, Qing Yulua. He pressed on Shi Yuan's philtrum for a while, and she finally woke up. Shi Yuan sized him up. Pointed ears, green hair, similar to Qi Li. But Qi Li gave off a warm feeling. But the person in front of her exuded a kind of oppressive feeling. Qing Yulua was lost and asked Qi Yuan for directions. Qi Yuan had no choice but to lead him. On the other side, where is that person from Long Yuan who was supposed to come? Don't tell me he got lost. I can't wait to test out my new gadget. I guarantee he won't be coming back. Even if it's not Qing Ziyuan himself, we can't underestimate the people from Long Yuan. Let me handle this personally. Why did he mysteriously ask us both to meet? What is he planning? Your Highness, why are you here too? What's wrong? Darling, running over in such a hurry. I was helping a strange, directionally challenged person find his way. Do you know him? Hello, Your Highness the White Tiger. I've heard so much about you. You're very punctual. Jin Yunlai looked at this person and didn't recognize him at all. He instantly flashed in front of Jin Yunlai and said, "Could it be that my brother has never mentioned me to you?" How heartbreaking. To prevent any accidents, Xianyaja used a spiritual art to lock Qing Yulua's neck, but unexpectedly, the other party vanished into thin air. Shi Yuan muttered to herself, "He's from the Long Yuan kingdom. No wonder he hates cats." Jin Yunlai said jealously, "Hates cats? You chatted with him for a long time." Shi Yuan was speechless. To prevent Shi Yuan from being eyed by other men, Jin Yunlai pulled up her hood to hide her. Jin Yunlai told Shi Yuan to go hide on the side. But Shi Yuan got her phone ready to take a few close-ups of Qing Yulua. But the phone couldn't display his level, only showing that he was using the Azure Dragon God art. It's no longer a simple spiritual art. Previously, Qi Li's level also couldn't be displayed. Could it be that this guy also made some kind of deal with a spirit god? Jin Yunlai finally remembered. He had heard that Long Yuan had a prince who was frail and sickly from a young age. He actually had a stronger comprehension than Qing Ziyuan, but couldn't use spiritual arts due to his fragile body. That second prince who has been hidden away until now. That's you, isn't it? If your brother came, I might be a little interested. Now that you're done talking, hurry up and disappear from my sight. I also hate you green bugs. Qing Yulua sneered. Bugs? In the world of gods, which of us isn't a bug? It's just that some bugs are more humble and pitiful. Qing Yulua released an illusion that gradually enveloped the area. In the illusion, Qi Yuan saw the people killed by Qing Yulua in the Central Lands. Lu Yu isn't here. Where did Lu Yu go? Why did it turn out like this? Suddenly, a ray of light shone in this illusion. It was Jin Yunlai who had found Qi Yuan in the illusion. Stand firmly behind me. Don't look at anything. You don't need to go through anything. Qi Yuan suddenly felt very fortunate to be able to stand by Jin Yunlia's side. He illuminated so many people. Unable to control herself, Qi Yuan hugged Jin Yunlai. Jin Yunlai was thrilled and happy. As mentioned in the last episode, Qing Yulua activated his spiritual art, instantly pulling several people into an illusion. Shi Yuan saw the people in the illusion. Qing Yulua stated that he was here to expose the sins of the gods. The portraits of the gods have the world's strongest control type spiritual art on them, subtly controlling everyone here. Shut up. Long Yuan, are you the only kind of warrior left who has abandoned their faith? Your Highness the White Tiger, you who have always grown towards the sun, have you never noticed the darkness behind you? I can see the high-level spiritual art on the portraits, all thanks to the Azure Dragon God. Because I ate it. Qing Yulua instantly closed in and grabbed Jin Yunlia's collar. Just as he was about to attack Jin Yunlai, Qi Yuan, using her phone's cheat, found Qing Yulua's weakness and sent him flying with a kick. When Qi Yuan woke up, she was already in the royal palace of the Huyun Kingdom. You really don't remember? That bomb's power was really strong. That second prince from Long Yuan, didn't you kick him? He then detonated the explosives he had previously hidden in your hat. But thanks to that white tiger cub, he caught it with his bare hands and blocked it for you. Then His Highness, isn't he injured too? Shi Yuan couldn't wait and was about to go find Jin Yunlai. You stop right there. The moment he's mentioned, you can't wait to leave. Your wounds haven't even been treated yet. Shi Yuan looked at Shi Si, feeling that he had been acting strangely lately. The next second, Shi Si picked her up and carried her out. Before the explosion, you two had a bit of a disagreement. Your Highness, about that god statue, do you really not know anything? If it's really as they say, Yuan, don't believe his words. Could it be that Her Highness the Crown Princess is doubting the great god? Jin Yunlai held Qi Yuan and explained, that's not what he meant. Yuan, I will agree to anything you want, but please don't argue with me on this point, okay? That was the first time Qi Yuan had seen Jin Yunlai with such a serious expression. The sound of dishes falling to the ground was heard. Kuei Malong looked at Qi Yuan before him. She was floating upside down in the air. Could there be a ghost here? His Highness asked me to deliver food, but has Her Highness the Crown Princess been possessed by a demon? Why is she floating in the air? Shi Yuan quickly explained that she was practicing her skills. It's a spiritual art that allows one to fly without wings. Shi Yuan looked at the braised pork set meal prepared by Jin Yunlai and couldn't help but ask, I doubted Hu Yun's god in front of His Highness. Is His Highness still angry with me? I don't think His Highness is any different than usual. On the other hand, your disrespect towards the god will get you treated as an enemy. Also, Little Orange's eyes and the White Tiger god's divine power are connected. Could it be that he is used by the White Tiger god to monitor Hu Yun? Don't talk nonsense. You should be more careful in the future. You'll be disliked by the Lord. Why not just run away from the marriage? Shut up. Wasn't it your plan to send me here? Why do you keep telling me to leave now? Because I want to. And Kuei Malong had already begun to question his reality. She's talking to the air again. I better take my leave now. As mentioned in the last episode, Kuei Malong brought food for Qi Yuan. Unexpectedly, he saw Qi Yuan floating in mid-air by herself, which scared him into thinking the palace was haunted, and he hastily took his leave. I'll go find him after His Highness's meeting is over. Before, that little white tiger was chasing you everywhere, and now you're serving yourself up on a platter. Have you fallen for him? Actually, I'm very worried about the thieves in the Central Lands. I want to find Liu Yu, and I also want to fulfill the promise I made to Liu Yu back then. It's too difficult for me alone, so I want to ask His Highness for help to lend a hand to the people of the Central Lands. I didn't expect that after all this, things could still develop in the direction you wanted. To Huanglong. Oh my, isn't this our little princess? I heard you're the crown princess now. There's something I'd like to discuss with you. I'm so sorry. I'm just a temporary crown princess. You should find someone else. I was just saying, how could the king of Hu Yun fall for an abandoned princess? But don't you even think about returning to Huangyan. If it weren't for you, Qi Li, His Majesty wouldn't have. Before he could finish, Shi Yuan grabbed him with one hand. What happened to him? Qi Li, keep talking. Calm down, what's wrong with you? Your expression isn't right. Strange, why did I suddenly get so angry just now? The moment I heard my brother's name from the mouths of those disgusting people from Huangyan, I couldn't control myself. Was it you influencing my emotions again just now? Were you? Like you, I'm a jinx star that brings misfortune. At this moment, Shi had the same thought as Kuei Malong. Why is she talking to the air? On the other side, Jin Yunlai had finished his meeting and saw Qi Yuan talking to herself from a distance. Your Highness, this is not a place to stay for long. Let's go quickly. Don't be afraid. Tell this king what you saw. Her Highness, Shi Yuan, sometimes talks to herself, as if there's someone secretly helping her. Shi felt Jin Yunlia's gaze looking in this direction. That little brat, could he have noticed? So what if he noticed? He can't see and he can't reach. Jin Yunlai put his arm around Qi Yuan and said, You've been waiting long, Yuan. Next time, leave the waiting to me. Let's go back to our room to talk. After all, there are too many people here. Listen up, I don't care what you are, stay away from another man's woman. If anyone dares to touch her, this king will definitely keep them company to the end. Upon hearing this, a murderous intent suddenly flashed in Shi's heart, but he quickly let it go. To think I would care about the words of a mere mortal. Back in the room, Jin Yunlai dotingly massaged Qi Yuan. How the tables have turned. Big golden-haired, you have your day too. This king is personally giving you a massage. How does it feel? No one has ever had this kind of treatment. It's SOSO. In terms of technique, my technique is probably better. Is that so? Then since you're comfortable, it's time to make this king comfortable. Jin Yunlai chose a great position, having Qi Yuan sit in front of him to massage his back. A little lower still. Qi Yuan couldn't take it anymore. I shouldn't have bragged. Jin Yunlai noticed that Qi Yuan's hair was still white. It's from overusing your transformation ability before, which resulted in white hair. You just need to find someone to fight and use up the spiritual power. Then I'll go find someone to practice with now. Jin Yunlai grabbed her and said, the strongest opponent in the palace is right in front of you, and you're still thinking of finding someone else? Come here. This king will help you properly. Qi Yuan thought to herself, my transformed state is only level 40-something, while this big golden-haired guy is already close to level 90. As expected, he beat Qi Yuan until smoke was coming out of her head. You stinky golden-haired guy, you didn't hold back at all. Jin Yunlai said that he really didn't use much of his strength. He took a cat teaser toy to Qi Yuan. Be good, come down quickly. Whatever you want to do, this king will agree. Whatever you want, I'll agree to it all. Then I want His Highness to help the people of the Earth attribute rebuild the Earth country. All right, I was just worrying about how to deal with the Earth people who have taken root there, but I can do my best to protect their safety. But to completely restore the land of the Central Lands, that would require the immense power of the Xuanji Jade. Your Highness, what exactly is the Xuanji Jade? Come, jump into my arms, and we'll go back to the room and talk slowly. The four spirit gods are the guardian deities of the Xuanji world. Originally, they coexisted peacefully. They even joined forces to eliminate many demonic spirits. Although the leader of the demonic spirits was sealed, it left behind a curse. The curse is that this world will continuously suffer from natural disasters. This is the Xuanji Jade from beyond the heavens. For some unknown reason, it came to the Xuanji world and landed before the god of the Earth country. And the Xuanji Jade can quell disasters. Later, for some unknown reason, the god of the Earth country disappeared, and the Earth country also perished. The Xuanji Jade was hidden in the clouds by the four spirit gods. Every 100 years, it descends randomly, and a battle for supremacy is used for fair competition. According to the rules, each king can bring one attendant to participate in the battle for supremacy. The attendant has one chance to make a wish. Jin Yunlai informed Qi Yuan about the history of the gods of the Xuanji world and the Xuanji Jade. Furthermore, in the battle for supremacy, each king can bring one attendant. Qi Yuan said she is very powerful now and wants to go with him to the battle for supremacy. No way, you're too weak. And those demonic spirits you eliminated were all the weakest ones I specially selected for you to practice on. During a real battle, spiritual art masters will summon their contracted spirit weapons and spirit beasts. These are the 7th tier Koemu blade and the 6th tier Malong spirit-seeking staff. But you don't have a spirit weapon or a spirit beast yet. Just having spiritual power is not enough. Shi Yuan's eyes lit up as she said, there's also battle spirit beast raising. I want one too. No, I don't want you to fight. That time you blocked Qing Ziyuan's blade for me. From that day on, I swore to myself that if you woke up, I would protect you for a lifetime and never let you face any threat again. Later, it was as if the gods heard my vow and brought you back to my side. This time, I won't let you get hurt in the slightest. Besides, the attendant must be someone who has established a relationship with the king. So, when do you plan to marry me? This king fell for you the first time I saw you. It sounds strange, doesn't it? Like a destined fate. After getting to know you, I became certain of this fate. You were the first person to eat my cooking and show a happy expression. The first person to talk back to this king. The first person to make this king feel a heart-wrenching pain. Yuan, I can give you anything you want. So, are you willing to marry me? I am ready to spend the rest of my life with you. What about you? Shi Yuan was stunned, not expecting the proposal to come so suddenly. In the Void Realm, Huanglong was watching the live broadcast. Oh my, the little crown prince seems to be proposing. Our little princess is definitely going to say yes. It's going to be the Huyun royal consort ending again. How many times has it been? Among so many parallel worlds, this is the most common ending. Did I hit a sore spot? After all, this little princess is You stupid dragon, you're bringing up things you shouldn't. I don't mind making you food for the Sea of Oblivion. Besides, she won't agree. I know her better than anyone. Her heart is buried in deep fear and panic. In her current state, she is unable to accept a beautiful promise. Little prince, this show won't be over so quickly. You can only have her in this life, while I have accompanied her through lifetimes. Back in the Huyun Palace, hearing Jin Yunlia's proposal, Qi Yuan's heart was beating so fast. She really did like him too. In this situation, how could she refuse? Suddenly, Qi Yuan saw the soul of Qi Li's sister again. Are you sure you want to do this? Even if it means getting him killed, you don't care? Have you forgotten that you are the ominous girl who brings bad luck and disaster? With your weak spiritual art, hearts, you will only continuously bring misfortune to the Huyun kingdom and get His Highness killed. But if it were me, who is trained in spiritual arts since childhood, there would be no problem. What do you mean? You've occupied my body for so long. That's enough, isn't it? Don't you think he and I are a better match? The prince, waiting for Qi Yuan's answer, suddenly saw her clutching her head. You're trembling. What happened? I'm sorry, I can't. At least, I can't respond to you right now. Qi Yuan rejected Jin Yunlai because she didn't want to bring disaster upon the prince. She didn't want him to know that even this body belonged to someone else. I don't want your apology. All I want is you. I can feel your heart, your little emotions, and the way you look at me. I don't believe those can be fake. What is troubling you? Can't you rely on me a little more? Looking at Jin Yunlai before her, Qi Yuan suddenly fainted. I'm sorry, Your Highness. I don't want the person I love most to face any threat. Qi Yuan fainted under Jin Yunlia's affectionate confession. When she woke up, she saw Kuei looking at her with deadpan eyes. Kuei tells Qi Yuan that Jin Yunlai has already gone to the border to quell the demonic spirit riot. This is the largest scale riot ever. However, Miss Qi Yuan, you can already be recorded in the annals of history. You are the first remarkable woman in history to reject the Huyun king's marriage proposal twice. Qi Yuan says she's a bit hungry and is going to find something to eat. You're trying to sneak out of the imperial palace again, aren't you? I have a reason why I must leave. Although His Highness told me to watch you and not let you leave, I don't want to do that. I won't let you hurt His Highness's feelings again and again. It has finally come to this. For the past 18 years, I have been constantly leaving things. Leaving false friendships, so I wouldn't suffer betrayal. Leaving my family who hated me, so I wouldn't get hurt. I never thought that one day I would have to leave the person I love. Even less did I think that it is precisely because of love that I choose to part. Kuei wanted to give Qi Yuan a sum of money, but was rejected by Qi Yuan. At this moment, a guard came over nervously. Lord Kuei, a large number of 8-ring demonic spirits have appeared in this border riot. There might even be a 9-ring monster. Legend has it that only when the great demonic spirit is about to descend will many high-level demonic spirits appear in the Xuanji realm. But the great demonic spirit was sealed by the gods long ago. Qi Yuan asked anxiously, is something very dangerous happening at the place His Highness went to? The guard said His Highness dismissed the guards and spirit beasts and went to the battlefield alone. We didn't want to leave either, but His Highness ordered us to leave. Qi Yuan knows that Jin Yunlai would never do something so irrational. For him to put himself in danger, alone against a mighty army, there is only the will of the gods and himself. Could it be that something has happened for His Highness to do this? Qi Yuan rushed out, ignoring Kuei's attempt to stop her. Just consider it a final meeting. Even though I've already decided to leave you, I don't want you to be hurt in the slightest. Kuei summons his own spirit beast to follow Qi Yuan from behind, but he himself was stopped by the guards. Lord Kuei, no one is allowed to approach the border. This is an order from the Great White Tiger God. What? So you were sent by the Great White Tiger God. Qi Yuan hurried towards the border. At this time, inside the White Tiger God's palace. So that's my future good daughter-in-law. What kind of magic does she possess to actually make Alai do this for you? Just one day ago, Qi Yuan, who was not influenced by the divine statue, caught the attention of the White Tiger God. He demanded that Jin Yunlai hand Qi Yuan over to the White Tiger God because she is very suspicious. But Jin Yunlai insisted that Qi Yuan is by no means a suspicious person, just someone who has been ignorant of the world since childhood. Seeing Jin Yunlai resist so strongly, the White Tiger God couldn't continue to force him. But for Qi Yuan to continue staying here, Jin Yunlai would have to go and deal with the demonic spirits at the border alone. By the way, these demonic spirits are a top-level natural disaster. If he fails, he will have to be handed over to Wulai for handling. You can rest assured, I will resolve all of this, but I will not hand her over to anyone. The 5 blessings seal. Do you know what that represents? But Jin Yunlai left without looking back. How touching. My strongest weapon. You will find out who your true master is. No one can define my will. Oh, my dear God, if anyone heard you say such things, their illusions would be shattered. Time goes back one day. Later, Qi Yuan, riding in a carriage, finally arrived at Jizhou on the border. But the bustling scene before her didn't look like a desolate land at all. It turns out, these are all cheering squads that came after hearing the Crown Prince was going to eliminate eliminate the demonic spirits. There are even fanfictions about the Crown Prince. It seems I've always had some misunderstanding about the people of Huyun. However, Chi Yuan, who wasn't wearing a cheering outfit, was quickly discovered. You're not wearing the cheering squad uniform. Go over there and get one to cheer for our big brother. How can you be so unprepared? Saying this, they put cat ears on Chi Yuan and drew whiskers on her face. Ah, little sister is indeed very beautiful. It turns out the people here admire the Crown Prince even more than the White Tiger God. It's because of a demonic spirit riot many years ago. Because the people of Jizhou couldn't pay enough spirit stones. So the White Tiger God didn't care about the people of Jizhou. It was the Crown Prince who, by himself, resolved the demonic spirits that time. With that small, young figure, he fought against a mighty army. The young Crown Prince became famous in one battle, like a ray of light shining into everyone's heart. Since then, the people of Jizhou have all become loyal fans of the Crown Prince. Chi Yuan followed the many female fans to the city wall and finally saw the Crown Prince facing the demonic spirits alone. Seeing that Jin Yunlai was still safe and sound, Chi Yuan planned to leave. Stop. I can feel your spiritual power from far away. Don't go. Chi Yuan stopped her departing steps and looked at Jin Yunlai. Just then, the most powerful 9-ring demonic spirit appeared. So powerful, it shattered the barrier once set by the demon god with a single strike. Last time, we mentioned that after seeing Jin Yunlai was safe, Chi Yuan was about to turn and leave. Stop. I could feel your spiritual power from far away. Jin Yunlai activated his idol power and pointed at Chi Yuan. The fans all turned to look at Chi Yuan, who was about to leave. Let me formally introduce her to you. She is the woman this king deeply loves. Our Huyun's future empress, who will grace the world. The crowd of female fans looked at Chi Yuan in disbelief. What? You, this flat-chested girl, are the crown princess? I will not marry you. I don't like you. If you don't like me, then why did you come here? This king has never known how to use words to make someone stay. No matter what kind of past you have, no matter what difficulties you face now, you just have to believe that my sword can clear all obstacles for you. The many female fans were already moved to tears by the crown prince. But my spiritual arts are terrible. I'll teach you. I can't cook. I'll cook for you. I will bring you misfortune. Silly girl, losing you is my greatest misfortune. Ah, you're having unrealistic dreams again. Jinx, look, that demonic spirit is staring at His Highness. You're going to bring misfortune to His Highness again. Chi Yuan flew over the city wall towards Jin Yunlai. Are you still going to go over? Even if it means losing everything, it doesn't matter. Leaving him is what it means to lose everything. At this moment, Chi Yuan finally conquered her inner demon. The Chi Yuan that accompanied her also disappeared. Chi Yuan finally ran towards Jin Yunlai. Oh, another food with super high spiritual power has arrived. Jin Yunlai pushed Chi Yuan away to dodge Gu Jiao's attack. Jin Yunlai shouted loudly, Yuan, get out of here. But because Jin Yunlai was distracted, he was ambushed by a demonic spirit hiding in the dark and was injured. Your great master, was once half a bird-type spirit beast. I love eating my own kind of most. The Huyun prince will be offered to the demon god, and you will be mine. The power of a 9-ring demonic spirit is second only to the demon god. The powerful pressure made Chi Yuan unable to move. Chi Yuan thought, my body can't move, but maybe I can escape with my wings. In the next second, the wings are beautiful, but they're in the way. Gu Jiao brutally tore off one of Chi Yuan's wings. Listening to the heart-wrenching scream from the wing, Jin Yunlai felt as if his own heart was being cut by a knife. This act had successfully enraged Jin Yunlai. Facing the angry Jin Yunlai, Gu Jiao didn't dare to be careless. He immediately used the divine technique, shadow play. The shadows I control can inherit 90% of the shadow owner's power. Go have fun with yourself. I'll take both the country and the beauty for you. In the next second, the hand Gu Jiao extended towards Chi Yuan was directly cut off. Gu Jiao found it incredible. This guy was clearly 6 levels lower than himself. Your Highness, forcibly raising your level and breaking through realms will lead to demonic deviation. Silly girl, you should be worried about yourself. That must have hurt a lot just now. Wait for me. It will be over soon. Jin Yunlia's level was still continuously rising. At the same time, Xianyaja of the Xianhan Kingdom also felt uneasy. Surely, where do you think you're going? Don't forget you're my puppet. Without my command, don't even think about acting on your own. Jin Yunlai, I hope you keep your promise. Protect her well. Don't let that one wake up. The Void Realm was also not calm. Shirsi was being tied up. Don't move. Lord Yuang, I can understand your feelings, but we gods cannot interfere in human battles. You can only go help her after the princess is dead. Do you want to die, Huang Long? And over here, Jin Yunlai had already forcibly raised his level to a 9th stage demigod. You have successfully enraged me. No one can withstand my full killing intent. Divine technique, space sever. Gu Diao felt the threat, the space where he was began to shatter like a pane of glass. Right, that vermilion bird woman. As long as I eat her, I can raise my level by another realm. He rushed towards Qi Yuan with all his might. Stop your divine technique. Piece the space fragments on me back together, or I'll eat her. However, Jin Yunlai did not give him this chance. With one stomp, Gu Jiao shattered like a mirror. Jin Yunlai walked towards Qi Yuan. All right, it's okay now. Let's go home. Qi Yuan wanted to stop Jin Yunlai, but it was too late. That Qi Yuan was a fake. At such a close distance, Jin Yunlai was once again severely injured. It turned out that the one just killed was a body created for Gu Diao by the demon god. The shadow was Gu Diao's true body. No one has ever pushed me to this point. How should I repay him? He grabbed Qi Yuan. Countless sharp spikes pierced out from within Qi Yuan's body. I will torture you to death in front of him, then eat you clean. Gu Diao grabbed the wing, wanting to torture her in front of Jin Yunlai, making him watch his beloved woman be tortured to death. At this moment, Jin Yunlai raised his level again. The 5 blessing seal was broken by him. Your Highness, don't raise your level anymore. It's because you forcibly raised it, which goes against the heavens. He's going to die. Hand over your soul, and I can still help you give him a quick end. At this moment, Qi Yuan felt a surge of anger erupting from her soul. A powerful spiritual force burst out from Qi Yuan's body. Immediately after, Qi Yuan's entire being entered her own consciousness. Wake up, I finally met you. This is my soul speaking. In 30 seconds, Gu Diao will slit your throat, and that man will also die from being unable to withstand the power to save you. As long as you pass my trial and obtain my power, there will still be time for everything. There's not much time left. Have you decided? As long as I can save His Highness, no matter what the trial is, I accept. Instantly, a black-red flame incinerated Qi Yuan. I'm clearly of the fire element. Why is this power so great? In the next second, Qi Yuan was directly burned to ashes by the flames. You will turn to ash and die here. But each time, you will be instantly reborn. You will continuously experience the pain of being burned to ashes until you can be reborn from these flames, or your soul is completely exhausted. Even the king of the netherworld won't be able to save you. At the same time, in the Void Realm, Huang Long was bringing food to Shirsi, only to find that Shirsi had already broken his bonds and disappeared. Within these 30 seconds, Qi Yuan had experienced being burned to ashes countless times, but she didn't know how to be reborn from the flames. There are 5 seconds left. Outside the battlefield, the berserk Jin Yunlai was fighting Gu Diao. Gu Diao couldn't withstand Jin Yunlai's attacks at all. He was just one step away from killing Gu Diao. But Jin Yunlai was killed by the immense power. The little white tiger prince is dead this time, right? But Qi Yuan still hasn't passed the trial. She could only watch Jin Yunlai die in front of her. Actually, I always knew my feelings for him. The first time he hugged me, the first time he said he would marry me, I knew. But I always let him down. Actually, I've always liked you too. Qi Yuan was about to be eaten by Gu Diao. But then Shirsi appeared and activated a time stop barrier. Damn it, I was so close to saving this white tiger cub. But Shirsi could only stop time and couldn't help Qi Yuan. Because the wound caused by breaking the bonds couldn't heal, his power was constantly draining. If he leaves this place, he won't be able to support the time barrier. Inside the barrier, Qi Yuan was crying sadly. Silly girl, I knew it all along. I didn't expect this king to hear your confession in this way. What you see now is a part of the consciousness this king left behind when I help you awaken. I was just thinking in case a bad person enters your soul one day to take away your power, this remaining bit of my consciousness can also protect you until the end. Qi Yuan could no longer hold back and burst into tears. But genuinely as time was running out. I'm sorry, baby. I can't take you out to play anymore in the future. My body outside is already dead. I'll use this last bit of my power to help you pass the test. Don't cry, baby. You have to live on. Qi Yuan obtained the power from the spirit core. The flames healed her wounds. It's been a long time since I felt this way. Ever since I was betrayed by him. Let me ask you, after you get the power, what do you want to do? Get revenge on the Gu Diao that made you suffer so much? I want to go back to his side. I want him back. Go, and love whom you love. Qi Yuan's power caused the barren land of the Central Plains to begin to revive at this moment, growing plants. Why is my nose bleeding? Did I black out? What happened? Suddenly, he noticed that Qi Yuan had woken up. What's going on? Why is the bird part of my bloodline boiling? And this woman is so beautiful now. Last time, we mentioned that Jin Yunlai forcibly raised his level to save Qi Yuan and died from the backlash. Using a trace of consciousness he had left in Qi Yuan's body, he helped Qi Yuan pass the trial. The awakened Qi Yuan made Gu Diao's nose bleed just by looking at her. Kneel before me. What? How is this possible? You are a phoenix. I see. So this is the reason my heart was moved. In the past, their Gu Diao clan all believed in the phoenix. It's just that one time, their clan was massacred. The phoenix they believed in never appeared to save them. In the end, only Gu Diao was left. Gu Diao surrendered to the demon god and became a demonic spirit. But when he saw the phoenix again, all the hatred from the past vanished. He just really wanted to get close to her because she could bring true salvation. My goddess, you're truly beautiful. The moment Gu Diao kissed the goddess's hand, only 1 foot and a spirit core were left. Qi Yuan landed beside Jin Yunlai. You waited a long time, Your Highness. I'll take you home now. With this flame of revival. You haven't fully merged with my power yet. If you want to save this demigod body now, you will also have to bet the goddess's life to bring him back from the netherworld. The probability is very small. If you fail, you will both die. It's okay. He didn't hesitate when he saved me. Now I can also stand in front of you, just like you did in the past. Now let me protect you. Divine Nirvana. At this time, Jin Yunlai had already arrived in the netherworld. The emissaries of the Spirit Sea were already holding lanterns, guiding them to reincarnate. But Jin Yunlai couldn't remember anything. The souls immersed in the sea of the underworld will lose their 7 emotions and 6 desires. The white-robed soul ferryman, 6 steps to forget this life. Qi Yuan suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. It's useless. If he can't remember on his own, then everything is over. Jin Yunlai, you arrogant, prideful jerk. The food you make is terrible. I forbid you to die. Do you hear me? Suddenly, Jin Yunlai heard someone call him and stopped his steps. Eli, you can't go any further. I didn't expect to see my own mother in the sea of the underworld. Eli, Yunlin is no longer your father. He's the white tiger god. He has been deceiving you all along. I left something in the secret room of the treasure pavilion. All right, there's no more time. 6 steps to forget oneself. I can no longer accompany you. But now, there is a new person who wants to protect you at all costs. She's a great daughter-in-law. Mother really likes Eli. No matter where you go, don't forget your own name. No matter where you go, don't forget love. How could I forget? I think I just heard someone say my cooking is bad. Suddenly, the emissary of the sea of the underworld discovered Jin Yunlai. Stop. Those who go against the flow of the sea of the underworld will be cast into hell. Instantly, countless evil spirits blocked Jin Yunlai's path. Suddenly, the sound of a bell rang out. All the spirits in the sea of the underworld calmed down. The several emissaries of the sea of the underworld also bowed in that direction. We respectfully welcome Lord Yuang. The one who arrived was Shirsi. He dismissed those emissaries. Is Yuang the master of this world? Why would he come here? I am the master of the sea of the underworld and the demon realm. Since ancient times, any human souls who dare to go against the flow will never be reincarnated. Jin Yunlai heard that the newcomer had ill intentions. He instantly drew his weapon. I don't care who you are. Don't even think about stopping my steps. After speaking, he launched an attack on Shirsi. As arrogant as ever indeed. White Tiger Cub, you will pay the price for challenging the laws of the netherworld. Jin Yunlai is the son of the White Tiger. Cast him into the 18 levels of hell. I will personally carry it out. Fine, bring it on. On the other side, Qi Yuan was anxious. What's going on? The flame has clearly found him. Why can't it bring him back directly? This shouldn't be. Could it be that reviving a demigod requires more spiritual power? Then I'll overdraft all my spiritual power. Use it all up. Qi Yuan spat out a large mouthful of blood, overdrawing her spiritual power, and was about to faint. I'm sorry, my flame is about to disappear. but I still can't save you. Stop, you idiot. Stop it. If you throw your own life away, how can you save him? Don't talk yet. I'll heal your wounds. On the side, the Phoenix recognized Shirsi, but Shirsi signaled her not to speak. Shirsi, I beg you. You are the emissary of the demon realm. I'm willing to give him the rest of my lifespan. You don't need to worry about my affairs anymore. Help me bring him back, okay? Why is it that when I see his sad face, my heart feels like it's being torn apart too? Shirsi looked at Qi Yuan and said, so to save him, it doesn't matter even if I die? Why is it that when I see his sad face, my heart feels like it's being torn apart too? Shirsi looked at Qi Yuan and said, so to save him, it doesn't matter even if I die? Qi Yuan looked at Shirsi's serious face. Shirsi spoke, I'm just kidding. Listen up, you idiot. I said I would be your guardian, so I will be responsible for you. Shirsi transferred a part of his power to Qi Yuan. I have never seen Shirsi show such a sad expression. Is it my imagination? And why is his face so pale? Follow my power. I will guide you. So the power of death can also be this warm. At this time, in the sea of the underworld, Shirsi and Jin Yunlai had already fought for 300 rounds. But no matter how Jin Yunlai attacked, Shirsi could easily neutralize it. And because Shirsi had already sent a clone outside, he was now fighting Jin Yunlai with his eyes closed. This guy's been keeping his eyes closed since the beginning. Is he not concerned about this battle, or is he actually looking somewhere else? Xuanji Realm, Jin Yunlai. Since you have already come here, you should have followed the rules and reincarnated. However, someone is now attempting to defy fate and bring your soul back. Fate is a wondrous thing. For the sake of the person who is desperately trying to save you, I will give you a chance. Only karma of equal value to a life and the entire future can be exchanged. This is her future. You can return to her side, but her future will be decided by me. Come, make your choice. I must go back, but I will never give her future to you. If you must take something, then take my future. This future is my treasure, but I hope even less for her future to fall into someone else's hands. But I want to see her no matter what. I want to hold her again, so I will bear all of this. Even if you separate my future from hers, I believe that no matter how many difficulties lie ahead in this life, we will eventually find our way back to each other. We will meet again. How ironic. I have always let others choose, but in the end, I have no choice. Shirsi returned Jin Yunlia's future. You must spend your entire life protecting her. If you harm her in the slightest, I will make it so you can never meet again for all of eternity. You don't need to tell me that. I will naturally do so. However, Lord Yuang, you seem to be using my consort as a bargaining chip, but in reality, you had nothing. It was an illusion you created, right? Now I finally understand. As a god, you possess a human heart. Shirsi seemed to have been found out. The spiritual power that erupted from his heart injured Jin Yunlai. I will not give you the chance. I will protect her for all of eternity. At this time, Qi Yuan's flame of revival grew stronger and stronger. A circular portal appeared in the air. Could that be the gate of resurrection? Who on earth could reverse the laws of the netherworld like this and take away his soul? If that little one's spiritual power were a bit stronger, or if she reclaimed the phoenix's body, she might really be able to resurrect the entire Xuanji realm. Shirsi looked at his hand. The injury was getting worse. It worked. His Highness is responding. Qi Yuan smiled happily, not noticing the injury on Shirsi's hand. She saw Shirsi's unnatural expression and asked, Shirsi, are you all right? Suddenly, she felt herself about to fall asleep again. Huang Long suddenly appeared behind her. Before Qi Yuan fainted, she saw Huang Long checking Shirsi's injury. She saw Shirsi smile at her. You should be fine, right? He is a nether emissary. After all, Qi Yuan groggily entered her consciousness again and saw the phoenix's true form. The phoenix told Qi Yuan that the road ahead might be even more perilous. You must remember, before you become stronger, stay far away from the white tiger god. He has been tainted pure black by that extremely evil thing. The mysterious phoenix, before falling into a deep sleep, helped Qi Yuan awaken a part of her soul's power, then turned into a phoenix egg. Qi Yuan looked at the phoenix egg in her hand and suddenly felt hungry. She kept drooling while looking at the egg, but for now, she had to find a way out of her consciousness. The surroundings were like a maze, and Qi Yuan couldn't find a way out at all. Suddenly, a voice came, Master, I know the exit to the maze. Follow me. It turned out that when Shirsi gave Qi Yuan this phone, he had sealed her ability to turn back into a spirit beast. Fufan was actually an electronic spirit beast created by Shirsi. Because Qi Yuan awakened the power of the Phoenix God, the seal weakened. And because of the Phoenix God's power, Qi Yuan can now form contracts with 3 spirit beasts and 3 spiritual weapons. Bringing Qi Yuan to the exit, she could smell a fragrant aroma through the door. Outside, Qi Yuan was nibbling on the golden-haired one's fingers. "You're awake. Am I tasty?" Qi Yuan couldn't believe her eyes. She rubbed her eyes and saw that it was indeed His Highness. Qi Yuan burst into tears. Jin Yunlai held Qi Yuan in his arms. "I'm here. I've always been here." Last time, we mentioned that Qi Yuan woke up and looked at Jin Yunlai. She rubbed her eyes to make sure she wasn't dreaming. Suddenly, tears streamed down her face. "Baby, why are you crying?" "I'm just so happy." But the tears won't stop. Even though we were only separated for a few days, it feels like a lifetime. Jin Yunlai pulled Qi Yuan closer, holding her slightly trembling hand. "I'm here. I've always been here. I will never let go again." Endless longing and the baptism of fire ignited every corner of his body. At this moment, Qi Yuan, her face flushed, accepted Jin Yunlia's affection. "Wait, Your Highness. The cheering squad on the city wall will see. What does it matter? You'll be mine sooner or later anyway." After a series of great battles, these fans had also come to accept Qi Yuan. "You've stolen all of this king's fans. As expected of Yuan Yuan. Let everyone have a good look. Our Huyun's future empress." This small border town was filled with excitement and joy at this moment. However, in a corner no one noticed, Exine watched the lively scene with a cold smile. A bird not far away also saw everything. "It seems he is safe and sound now." At this moment, Qi Li was driving a chicken-killing vehicle outside the divine shrine. "Until today, I finally understand why you wanted to execute my imperial sister, Qi Yuan. Because she looked a lot like her, right? No one in the world ever knew that the gods of Huangyan were a pair of twin siblings. And that younger sister was the phoenix god, the one you 4 gods feared the most." At this moment, Qi Yuan had been brought before a bed by Jin Yunlai. Qi Yuan looked at the bed shyly, thinking to herself, is it about to happen? But Jin Yunlai lifted the blanket, and inside was a cat. However, he didn't know that every time Qi Yuan saw a kitten, she would be reminded of the kitten that was cruelly tortured to death by her younger brother. Perhaps His Highness never cared about it. Yuan, I want to know everything about you. I want to know what you've been through in the past. My past is not glorious. It's even filled with sad memories. I never told you because I was afraid. I was afraid that if you knew, you would think I'm useless. You are not a useless person. You were the one who helped the bandits of the Central Plains. You were the one who eliminated Gudiao in the end. You were the one who brought me back from the netherworld. Don't see yourself that way." Jin Yunlai took out a ring and put on Qi Yuan. This is a ring. Could it be a formal proposal? What is this situation? Jin Yunlai is actually threatening a rabbit to call him daddy. Last time, we mentioned that Jin Yunlai put a ring on Qi Yuan. Qi Yuan's heart pounded. Could this be a formal proposal? Jin Yunlai looked at Qi Yuan and smiled. "This is the ring of golden orchid that stores my power. A 9-ring spiritual weapon." Qi Yuan was instantly dumbfounded. "Even if I'm not here, it can continue to protect you. And it has some other functions. So that's how it is. But how could people in this world know the meaning of putting a ring on a girl? And he even put on the wrong finger." Qi Yuan forgot the meaning of a ring on the middle finger. Jin Yunlai deliberately put the ring on Qi Yuan's middle finger, which means she is taken. Jin Yunlai even asked Xian Yaja about this ring. Jin Yunlai held Qi Yuan and thought to himself, "If I could, I would propose to you right now. But now is not the time." Jin Yunlai lifted the kitten for Qi Yuan to hold. Unexpectedly, the kitten called out "Mom" in a deep male voice. What the hell? It's haunted. A talking cat. Of course cats can talk. They are all spirit beasts. It's just that this one is a bit special. Qi Yuan took a closer look. This cat actually had the majestic air of a tiger. This is Jin Yunlia's. Qi Yuan wanted to understand his hometown. "I've been almost every corner of the Xuanji realm. I'm very curious about what your hometown is like." Qi Yuan hesitated, wondering if she should tell him that she had actually transmigrated from another world. But coming from another world, she would never believe in their so-called white tiger god. She was afraid that she would end up on the opposite side of Jin Yunlai. "What are you thinking about?" At this moment, Jin Yunlai looked at Qi Yuan curiously. Qi Yuan quickly waved her hands, afraid the golden-haired prince would see through her. Jin Yunlai hugged Qi Yuan. Yuan, after being with you, we have experienced all sorts of bizarre things together. As long as it concerns you, no matter how incredible it is, I will accept it." Since Jin Yunlai had said so, Qi Yuan told Jin Yunlai about her origins. "As expected, I'd already guessed that you were a soul transmigrator." Although the golden-haired prince tried to act calm, Qi Yuan still pointed out, "Your Highness, your teacup is upside down. But that pervert actually spied on my princess during her childhood for so long. At this moment, Chi Yuan discovered. Finfin picked up the phone and showed Jin Yunlai that it could let him see what the real world looked like. Chi Yuan asked Finfin if there were any photos of the real world. With a snap of the fingers, a scene from modern society appeared. Mommy, do you want to go back to the real world? Chi Yuan was stunned. This phone actually had this ability. Can I really go back to the real world? At this moment, Finfin thought mischievously, if Mommy chooses to go back, I'll let Daddy go with her. I can also put this little white tiger prince in his place. Just as he was feeling proud, Jin Yunlai walked over and grabbed Finfin. Who are you calling Mommy? Finfin was so scared by Jin Yunlai that he short-circuited. At this moment, Jin Yunlai said, you call Chi Yuan Mommy, right? Come on, call me Daddy. Last time, we mentioned that because Jin Yunlai insisted on Finfin calling him Daddy, Finfin got scared and short-circuited, electrocuting both the golden-haired prince and Chi Yuan. Chi Yuan picked up Finfin. If you cause any more trouble, I'll take out your circuit board. At this moment, Finfin asked Chi Yuan, Mommy, do you want to go back to the real world? Chi Yuan answered without hesitation, no, because everything I love and my home are here. I'm not going anywhere. Seeing his plan fail, Finfin said, all right, then I'll tell you. This is a function I couldn't use before. After absorbing the Phoenix's power, I can finally use it. The world's strongest spatial projection, spiritual art. The moment the button was clicked, the scene where Chi Yuan and Jin Yunlai were changed to look like the modern world. This technology can project scenes from the real world over here. If you go in, you can experience everything from the real world. And the time and space are synchronized. In other words, what you are seeing now is what is happening in the real world. Jin Yunlai, who had just been exposed to the real world, was having his worldview reconstructed. Instantly, Chi Yuan and the golden-haired prince's clothes also changed to a modern style. Chi Yuan also noticed that her clothes had changed to a modern style and jumped for joy. Chi Yuan turned around, and just as she was about to speak to Jin Yunlai, she was stunned by the sight of him. I'm not quite used to the clothes here. Just like the male lead described in a romance novel. His Highness looks so handsome. Jin Yunlai looked at Chi Yuan. Chi Yuan shyly covered her face. Jin Yunlai saw this and stroked Chi Yuan's head comfortingly. Were you scared? Chi Yuan hurriedly concealed her panic. No, not at all. Yuan, lift your head. It seems like something is stuck on my face. Is there something? I'm teasing you. Whose wife is this beautiful? So this is how you used to dress every day. So cute. Your Highness, you're so annoying. Don't look at me. All right, Yuan, I'll stop teasing you. Turn around quickly. This is the first time I've seen such a magical thing with my own eyes. Aren't you going to show me around? All right, then I'll show you just how interesting our real world is. Next, Chi Yuan took Jin Yunlai to a dessert shop and a modern public phone booth. She acted as Jin Yunlai's guide along the way. All of this was new and fascinating to Jin Yunlai. Chi Yuan wondered why everyone around was wearing masks. Suddenly, a person who brushed past her made her heart tighten. It must be my imagination. I thought I saw my sister. At this moment, Chi Yuan was thinking about where to take His Highness to play next. Jin Yunlai pointed ahead. What is that? Chi Yuan looked in the direction he was pointing. Is that a Ferris wheel? Before I died, this Ferris wheel had just started construction. Jin Yunlai looked at Chi Yuan. Can you ride on that? Of course, you can. Before Chi Yuan could react, Jin Yunlai took her hand and said, come to think of it, a Ferris wheel seems to be a popular date spot. This is just like a real modern couple. The two of them got on the Ferris wheel together. But Chi Yuan's stomach started to growl again. We passed by so many dessert shops. If only I could really eat some sweets. As soon as she said it, Finfin came over with a cake. Chi Yuan snatched the cake and ended up throwing Finfin down. You're murdering your own son. He fell. It's fine, he's a crafty one. Damn it, I can't let these two progress so smoothly. If only I had my nose. In the next second, a hand reached out and caught the falling Finfin. On the other side, Chi Yuan was happily introducing the cake to Jin Yunlai. This cherry on top is one of a kind. I always save it for last. Saying that, she gave the cherry to Jin Yunlai. It's a rare treat. Isn't this your favorite? Because the most favorite thing should be given to the most favorite person. Instantly, the air in the cabin became quiet. This is so embarrassing. Golden hair, why aren't you saying anything? Chi Yuan could only look outside. Oh, the scenery outside is so nice today. Idiot, saying something like that in such a small space. Chi Yuan noticed that from up high, she could see her old school. It's class time now. she spotted someone in a school uniform skipping class. Looking closely, something seemed off. That person is Shirsi. What's the situation? Jean Yunlai actually met Shirsi. Just now, Chi Yuan thought she saw Shirsi on the Ferris wheel. Jean Yunlai came over and asked Chi Yuan what she saw. Chi Yuan looked down again and saw nothing. She thought she was imagining things again. Chi Yuan asked Jean Yunlai what he thought of the real world. Jean Yunlai said it was not bad. What god do you have protecting you? Chi Yuan patted Jean Yunlia's shoulder. Oh, you and your feudal superstitions. Look at this world. Houses are built by people, brick by brick. Illnesses are treated by doctors based on experience. Although there are some shortcomings, there are still many hardworking people. Our era is a good one. Someone below was setting off fireworks. Jean Yunlai felt that when Chi Yuan talked about the real world, her whole being was glowing. Jean Yunlai picked up the cherry, held Chi Yuan's cheek, and fed the cherry to Chi Yuan with his mouth. The most favorite thing for the most favorite person. Chi Yuan's face instantly flushed and her heart pounded. Let's go, we're heading back. Chi Yuan was still savoring the phrase most favorite person. After the previous experiences and this confession, Chi Yuan felt that there should be no secrets between the lovers she liked the most. She gathered her courage and wanted to discuss the matter of the white tiger god with Jean Yunlai. But she was interrupted by Jean Yunlai. Hu Yun cannot be without the white tiger god. There is something I want to confirm. Let's not discuss this issue before that. Don't worry, just leave everything to me. Chi Yuan felt very disappointed. Is His Highness avoiding the issue? Finfin watched them go back and breathed a sigh of relief. Activating this function really drains the battery. But I really didn't expect Daddy to have created a virtual identity here. Shirsi's virtual identity smiled at Finfin. He's really different from Daddy. A great and majestic god like Daddy would never smile. Where are you? Where did Huang Long hide you? Why can't I feel your presence at all? Suddenly, Finfin was snatched away. My apologies. My rabbit was left behind. This king has come personally to take him back. You shouldn't have any objections, right, Lord Yuang? It seems a trip to the netherworld hasn't made you restrain yourself at all, white tiger cub. Finfin's pupils instantly dilated. That, Lord Yuang, my actions towards you just now were a little exaggerated. You won't mind, right? Shirsi smiled and said, what do you think? Finfin instantly disappeared on the pretext of finding Chi Yuan. You saw me on the Ferris wheel. This king's eyesight on the battlefield has always been excellent. Jean Yunlai said, there is something I hope you will cooperate with me on, after I understand the whole truth behind it. It's not a discussion, but cooperation. You're that confident that I will agree? You won't refuse, because there will be a fierce battle ahead. At the same time, inside the White Tiger God's temple, go and greet our great god. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lord White Tiger God. I am Chi Yuan. What's this? Chi Yuan is actually cooperating with the White Tiger God. Last time, we mentioned that Xi and Yulua brought a mysterious person to the White Tiger God's temple. Go and greet our great god. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lord White Tiger God. I am Chi Yuan, another princess of Huanyin with not a shred of faith in me. If she wasn't deliberately placed by Ali's side by someone, I wouldn't even need to be a god. Get up. When I first met Miss Cat, I used the Green Dragon's divine technique and discovered another soul inside Chi Yuan's body. Everything that imposter has belongs to me. Thanks to you, I was able to be reborn. I will get everything she has. You are quite clever, immediately stating your position. Now that the Xuanji Jade is about to descend, I need